It's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Phoenix, Arizona. Cactus League baseball continues today. We've got the San Francisco Giants and the Milwaukee Brewers from American Family Fields of Phoenix. And hi, everybody. We welcome you. Another day of baseball, and it is a beautiful day to play today. I'm Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. We'll hear from Sophia Minnaert in just a moment. Well, let's get right into the nuts and bolts of this Cactus League season now. A couple of guys swinging the bat very well, Avisail Garcia and Manny Pena. And let's start with Avi Garcia. This feels like a bounce-back year for him, Rock.
Well, and a bounce-back year for the entire offense. It was kind of down a year ago, but Avi made a commitment in the offseason to shed some weight, and it has really started to pay off. I mean, early on in spring training, really swinging about well. The power numbers are there. He's shooting the ball all over the diamond. Look at the numbers. I mean, 6 for 11, a home run, 3 RBIs, and it's not just with the bat. Defensively, Garcia has always been a plus outfielder, throwing arm right on the money. I think this weight loss is really going to be a benefit to him. And another guy, Manny Pena, remember he was not able to finish the season a year ago. And Manny's been swinging about well. He's playing good defense. He and Omar Narvaez, they're going to be a big key to the offense for the Brewers and the defense for that matter in 2021.
Well, it's interesting. Both players, Pena and Narvaez, the two catchers have been in the lineup a lot together. One is the designated hitter, the other catches, and that's the same story here today. And another big bat's in the lineup as well. Christian Yelich is in there today. It'll be his 4th game in the Cactus League. Adrian Hauser is on the mound for the Brewers. Speaking of a guy who needs a bounce back, he's hoping for one this year. We're looking forward to it. We'll check in with Sophia, and then it's lineups and first pitch, and it's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. It's a pretty significant wind blowing out to center field. Could be a day for the hitter, as they usually are here in the Cactus League in Arizona. We're just about ready for first pitch with Adrian Hauser on the mound today to get us started. Before we get into the lineups, let's get it down to Sophia Minnaert, our Tier 2 Emmy Award-winning reporter. What's news today, Sophia?
Well, it is a great day to play 9 innings of baseball, right, BA and Rock, and we've got some news for you regarding Jackie Bradley Jr. and when we might see him in action here in the Cactus League. Yesterday was his first official day as a Brewer. We even got to hear from him a little bit during the game yesterday, and so the 2018 Gold Glove Award winner, former All-Star as well. The plan for him, according to Craig Counsell, is that he will be in the lineup on Saturday against the Texas Rangers. Now, he will also play in a sim game on Friday just to help get him ready. So even though he's starting a little bit later than the rest of the position players, they're still confident he'll have plenty of time, and this will actually be the same schedule that the position players go through, having 4 days on the field before game action, and then he'll be ready to go. And he told us yesterday as well, he's really eager to get out there with his new team. It was great to see him in the dugout, watching the game, getting to know his new teammates, and even hear from him during the game yesterday. Now, as for today's game, for pitcher Adrian Hauser, he's making his 2nd appearance here in the Cactus League, and last year was just a year that he would love to put behind him. It was 12 games for him. He started out with 2 really good starts, but finished the year 1-6 with an earned run average over 5 and put together just 1 quality start last year. So there was a lot of frustrating things for Adrian Hauser last year, but it wasn't all bad. And so he says there are some positives he wants to take away from it. And Craig Counsell said, look, this is a really important spring training and an important camp for Adrian Hauser. He said we need him to take a step forward here this year, and all of that is going to come together here at spring training as he gets deeper into these Cactus League games. So the things that they really want him to work on, and they felt that he struggled with at times last year, was just when he let games get away from him at times. So they want him to continue to work on just the pitch sequencing, the usage, and just not letting the game get away from him mentally. So those are things to keep an eye on with Adrian Hauser the remainder of spring training.
Well, we'd be remiss, Sophia, if we didn't ask you how life in Tier 2 is going. As you get to hang with the cool kids, give us a little bit of an understanding of what your experience has been like down there.
I will say, I mean, after we didn't have any access last year, it has been so nice just to see so many of the players, the staff in person, having that access back again, being able to be right here, you know, right by the dugout in the camera well, having some field access, being able to talk to guys as they're on the field doing their work, taking batting practice and everything. And I think for them, it helps normalize things as well to start to see fans coming back. Most importantly, that's the biggest thing I think that everybody missed across the game last year was just the empty stadiums. So having fans back, having games on TV again, right? Getting to see more staff, getting to see more people that we all just didn't get to interact with each other last year. So, you know, BA and Rock, I know Craig Counsell was even waving to you guys from the field as they were doing their early BP. So it's just good to have those moments because, quite frankly, that's what we all miss the most.
Well, and our job is to try to bring all of that to the fans, and we weren't really able to do that last year. But Sophia, you're doing a great job, and thanks for all the content that you've been able to deliver. So more with Sophia a little bit later. Craig Counsell and the Brew crew ready to go against the San Francisco Giants. Rock, you're a relational guy. I mean, you've built your whole career on being able to get down to the cage and dig up all these nuggets. And you know, it's kind of a new way for us to do games, but we are grateful that Sophia does have the access she has, so we can at least tell some of those stories in spring training.
And when we have a question for somebody, we have Sophia ask them, and then Sophia gives us information. Right. We're kind of getting real expert on the Zoom calls. I mean, the Brewers have done a really good job making players and coaches, you know, Craig Counsell, David Stearns, available to us media folk, able to ask questions and things like that. So yeah, I know we miss being on the field. Do you think they miss seeing us?
I don't think so at all, but it was good checking in with those guys earlier today. Craig Counsell and company shouting up at us to say hello. There you see the San Francisco Giants. They have a record of 2-3-3. 3 ties already in the Cactus League, and there are ties throughout Cactus League play. The Brewers did win yesterday in a 7-inning game. We're told today will go the full 9 innings. There is enough pitching that both managers need to see to fulfill 9 innings. So the former Brewer, Gabe Kapler, skipper of the San Francisco Giants, and very good friends with Brewers manager Craig Counsell. So we'll look forward to today's Giants-Brewers game, and Adrian Hauser is ready to go. He leads, we all follow, and the Brewers hit the field in their cream uniforms on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Phoenix, Arizona. Mostly the Giants have some of their big names off today. Typically the big names with these franchises will play the home games. That wasn't the case yesterday with the Angels. We saw a lot of their A lineup yesterday, but Gabe Kapler is going to roll them out like this today. Alex Dickerson will lead off. He'll be in left field. Darren Ruff will be at first base. Batting third is Kurt Casale. He's the catcher. And then in the middle, start getting into some prospects here. Elliot Ramos, a former first rounder, one of their best prospects, will be the DH. A former Brewer, Mauricio Dubon, he's at third, can also play the outfield. You got Joe McCarthy in right, and the bottom 3, Steven Duggar in center field. Will Wilson will be at second base, and the Giants' top prospect, Marco Luciano, a 5-tool shortstop, is in the lineup today. I'm looking forward to seeing him. And Rockets, Adrian Hauser, and a disappointing season last season. Stops and starts and couldn't quite capitalize on what he did in 2019. So he's got his sights set on a big-time turnaround for 2021.
Yeah, well, he certainly has the stuff. I mean, going back to last year's first 2 starts, outstanding, 1 earned run in 12 innings, and then things kind of went south for him, making his second appearance this spring. He pitched an inning against the Indians back on March 4th. And I hope he's going to be able to extend himself a little bit, you know, here today. Well, let's check out the defense behind Hauser today. You got Yelich and Garcia on the corners. You got Derek Fisher in center. Arcia, Robertson, Wong, and Vogelback from third to first, and Omar Narvaez behind home plate. You got Manny Pena as the designated hitter today.
Yeah, those two have been flip-flopping in those roles, getting a lot of at-bats this spring. All right, all the pieces in place. We're ready to go. Adrian Johnson will call the balls and strikes. He says play ball, and we do just that. In there for a strike, and off we go on a Tuesday afternoon in Phoenix. Alex Dickerson leading the way for the Giants. Dickerson, Ruff, and Casale as Hauser pumps one in outside for a ball. Third base umpire over there is Paul Clemens. The crew chief today is over at first base. That's Mark Carlson, and Jordan Baker is the second base umpire. He's easy to spot. He's the tallest umpire in the big leagues. That's a base hit. Dickerson lashes one into right center field, and that's how the day begins.
Yeah, I think Sophia hit on the issues for Hauser a year ago. They're talking about letting games and innings, for that matter, get away from him. It seems like he'll cruise along and he'll not be able to get out of an inning. You know, the big inning, particularly early in games, has been an issue for Hauser in his career. Looked like an off-speed pitch. Dickerson able to wade back and hit it hard into center.
Lead man on for San Francisco. Here's Darren Ruff now, Giants first baseman. No Buster Posey in the lineup today for San Francisco. No Evan Longoria. Mike Yastrzemski is enjoying an off day as well. Ruff popped 5 home runs last year in the shortened season. And that one's in there from Hauser. He's got good velocity early. That one hit at 95 miles an hour. Still a shock to me to see the modern pitcher the last few years hit 95, 97, 98 in spring training games. Used to never see that.
No. These guys come in camp ready to go, don't they?
Yeah, no, there's an off season technically, but these players don't use spring training to get in shape for the most part, especially pitchers.
Yeah, for the most part, they're throwing all their pitches right away, too. It used to be, you know, fastballs, and then they'll mix in another breaking pitch next time out. They have the whole arsenal available early on.
Hauser deals, and Ruff on the ground foul. Saw Gabe Kapler there in the Giants dugout. Spent some time in Milwaukee in uniform. Remember, he had managed in the minor leagues in the Red Sox system, and then kind of came out of semi-retirement, never officially retired, then made it back to the big leagues and returned to the big leagues with the Brewers. Doug Melvin gave him a chance. He and Craig Counsell are good buddies. Kapler from the Phillies to the Giants. Ooh, that's inside and hit him, drilled him. Rough hit by a pitch. It's going to put the first 2 on here in this first inning.
Got to be able to establish that inside part of the plate. Slider's a good pitch for him. They got him right on the elbow. Up and in, not able to get out of the way.
You'd rather have hitters turn away from the pitch. But a lot of hitters don't do that anymore. They turn inside. It's kind of a how you prefer to slide, feet first or head first. It's a tough habit to break.
Yeah.
So here is Kirk Casale now with 2 on. Nobody out. Hauser with a breaking ball that misses. Last year the Giants finished 3rd in the NL West. Their 4th straight sub 500 season. Last made the playoffs in 2016. They had a chance. They were a bit of a surprise team last year in the shortened season. Remember, they were making a run at a playoff spot. They had a chance to finish over 500, but then they lost the final 3 games of the year to San Diego. Buster Posey opted out last year, very similar to Lorenzo Cain with the Brewers here. As Casale, a wave and a miss. I think when they lost Buster Posey and he decided to opt out, they thought Kapler's Giants were going to end up at the bottom of the division, but they rallied. They played hard. They actually were a pretty good offensive team, as it turned out. Better than most expected. There's a swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. Leadoff single and a hit batter. 2 on for the Giants with nobody out. Hauser looking for that ground ball double play with the catcher at the plate. And he deals a 2-2, and that one just missed.
Yeah, that's a good slider. I mean, Adrian has really developed a good slider. And the change up, the cutter to go with it. Yeah, good test for him already. You know, a couple of men on first inning. This has been a problem for him.
Trying to ease your way into a game. That's not going to be the case here today. Next one, Casale fouls it off.
Overall offense not too bad for the Giants a year ago. Good team batting average, 4th in the NL. Able to get on base. Obviously not a really good home run ballpark in San Francisco. Got to manufacture runs for the most part.
Full count. Hauser delivers. Another one fouled away. That pitch count climbing early. Don't forget, managers can roll innings. And we saw that yesterday. It didn't roll an inning, but brought the pitcher back. So managers have the option to either have a reliever come in to finish an inning or just stop the inning this early in the Cactus League schedule. Typically, you get into the 20-25 pitch count. It has to be more than 20 pitches. And you have to finish or complete an at-bat, and then you can stop the inning. There's a bouncer. Nice stop over there at third. Arcia lost the handle. That one kind of ate him up on a top spinner. And unable to recover and get it out. If he picks it cleanly, it's going to start a double play.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's going to be second or first for the double play. But once he bobbled it, tried to make the tag, dropped the ball. So a tough start for Adrian Hauser.
Arcia is going to get a lot of time at third base this spring.
Well, this is just a tailor-made double play if he picks it cleanly. And if he keeps it in the glove, he's got the out at third. Got nobody.
Arcia needs as much experience at third base as he can get this spring. And it's interesting, I noticed today as Hauser misses inside against Elliot Ramos, I noticed all the backups that Craig Counsell has in place for later in the game when he makes the substitutions. Nobody is backing up Arcia, so it's possible Arcia could play all 9 today.
It's not just as easy as going from short to third. I mean, there's a lot of different nuances at third base that you don't have to deal with at shortstop. In the webbing, just gets knocked out as he tries to make the tag. Everything's a lot quicker at third base.
Yeah, making sure you have the footwork to get the proper hop is the name of the game over there. A swing and a miss. And it's 1-2 on Elliot Ramos.
Well, the other thing is, you know, at third base, you have a lot more time to set yourself and make a throw. We've seen, you know, throughout the years with the Brewers, guys that have gone from shortstop to third base that don't like that extra time. End up making some bad throws.
Base is loaded. Here's a 1-2, and that one's in there. Called strike 3. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and the first out of the ball game for Adrian Hauser.
Yeah, good two-seamer, you know, just at the bottom of the zone, right on the inside edge. Good pitch. Had him looking away.
So one away, and here is a familiar face and name, Mauricio Dubon, former Brewer. Super utility man with the Giants as Hauser misses. Dubon came up in the Brewer system as a shortstop second baseman. He has since added outfield to his versatility, thus the super utility moniker. If you play all the infield positions, you're just known as a utility man, but when you play the outfield, you get the super designation.
Yeah, super is, you know, both infield and outfield, and you do a really good job no matter where you go.
I mean, everybody wants to be super at something. Dubon takes a ball inside, 2-1 the count. Kind of like you, Rock, work with all your different play-by-play partners. You're kind of a super analyst.
Yeah, you really can't get complacent.
Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, it's good.
Jeff Levering will be stepping in for the rest of the spring. Got a lot of television games basically going every other day for the next few days. Fly ball to right field. Garcia is over and makes the catch for the out. This is going to bring a run in. Sacrifice fly for Dubon. And with 24 pitches, let's see if they decide to roll the inning or not here.
Hey, you don't want that first inning to get too out of hand. 24, 25, 26 pitches is a lot.
So Counsell is out. He does have Zach Brown loosening in the bullpen. And this might be one of those where Brown comes in to try to finish the inning, and then maybe Hauser would come back next inning. So this is what we saw yesterday. I think managers are feeling a little better about this kind of scenario as opposed to stopping an inning. So we'll set up Zach Brown. We got a first inning pitching change due to pitch count. Brewers minor league camp, those minor leaguers that they have brought here to Arizona, and he's going to be tasked with trying to get the last out of this first inning. We'll see Hauser come back, I'm sure of it, in the second inning. So trying to monitor pitch counts this early. Pitchers can re-enter. So Cousins getting some time to warm up here.
Man, not the start that Adrian Hauser was looking for. His defense kind of let him down. Could have been out of the inning with a double play ball, but was not. Probably see him back for the second inning, though. His day's not over.
All right, so Jake Cousins, he's the closer for the starter, let's say.
For at least a couple of outs anywhere, at least one. Spent some time in the Brewers organization back in 2019.
Ivy Leaguer went to Penn, and his first offering is outside. Got a life on his fastball, a lot of movement.
He was with the Chicago Dogs of the Independent American Association last year. How about that? These Chicago Dogs.
A little change up there from Cousins. Going to see more and more of that as the minor league system has been restructured. A lot fewer teams, a lot fewer players, and independent leagues are going to become more prevalent, and players signing out of those independent leagues are going to be coming more often. Opportunity for those guys to get on the mound or get some at-bats. We got a great independent league team in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Milkmen. It's always a fun, fun ride. They've got a great thing going over there, and it is a pathway. It's a little more difficult than being affiliated with a major league team, but it is a pathway back into affiliated ball, and I think it's going to be more and more seen this season and the seasons to come.
Our buddy Tim Dillard was part of the Milkman organization last year.
Yeah, he was. Tim currently under contract with the Texas Rangers, but the minor league season has been pushed back, even the AAA season, a month. So there aren't many other than those players that can fill rosters here for the big league team. There aren't many here in the minor league complex right now. It's pretty slim. I think it's only 15 additional players outside your 40-man roster. Very different spring training. You're not really recognizing it here on the big field and games that we cover, but you know, in the back hallways, there's a much different feel, a lot less personnel with no minor leaguers here yet. Into center field, hit well, and going to be run down in center by Fisher to end the inning. So Cousins gets a little time on the big league field. Gets out of a mess for Hauser. We'll see Adrian come back for the second. Brewers are coming up here at the bottom of the first. The ballpark, masked up, enjoying a little baseball today on a Tuesday afternoon. Giants lead it 1-0. And now the Brewers coming up for the first time. Craig Counsell has a number of his A-listers in there today. Counsell now in year number 7, I believe, year 6 as a spring training manager. His batting order with Colton Wong, Avisail Garcia, Christian Yelich. He's got Vogelback, Pena, and Narvaez in the middle. Arcia, Fisher, and Daniel Robertson rounding out the starting lineup. And there is Alex Wood. That's a big piece the Giants have brought in from the Dodgers.
Yep, last year with L.A. Spent some time with the Cincinnati Reds. That was back in 2019. Big curveball, pretty straight. Uses the fastball up in the zone.
Wood facing Colton Wong. Wong had a ton of extra batting practice today. Had the curveball machine going today.
Getting ready for today's start, right? Alex Wood with the big curveball.
And a lefty, which is always something that these left-handed hitters want to face. Get some at-bats. That ball's hit well. That's going to be deep into left field. Over the head of Dickerson and into second with a double. Colton Wong with a leadoff double for the Brewers in the first.
Extra BP pays off, doesn't it? You put the work in and you get immediate results sometimes, not always. Watch that front shoulder. That doesn't budge. Lefty versus lefty. Drives it off the base of the wall and left. Oh, he had a big score yesterday. What was it, 10-9 with the wind blowing out yesterday? I'd see a bit of the same today. Who knows? Colton Wong gave that one a ride.
Well, we're playing a full 9 innings, so a lot of opportunities to score runs today, Rob.
Right, yeah.
Runner at second to start it. A lead double by Wong. Here is Aviseo Garcia.
Well, they knew this was your last game. They wanted to get your practice in.
They got to get the reps in, man. They're going to be shut down for a while.
Yeah.
See you April 1st after this. Opening day against the Twins.
Yeah. Right around the corner. Weather's nice in Milwaukee.
It is.
At least it's the temperatures are warming up.
It's good for the grass.
Yeah.
Roof is open. American Family Field as Garcia takes a ball inside. Avi has been on fire. If you're with us for the open, Rock featuring Aviseo Garcia today.
He's off to a great start. Look at those numbers.
6 hits, not only doing it at the plate, he's thrown out a base runner, made a nice catch in the top of this first inning. It's going to be fascinating to watch this outfield this year. Going to be a topic of conversation with Yelich, Garcia, Kane. Jackie Bradley Jr. is now in camp, took batting practice yesterday. Sophia reported earlier he'll be in the lineup this weekend. So it's all kind of coming together here, trying to get Kane back and healthy. He's dealing with a quad injury right now, so they can afford to be patient with Kane.
It's going to be a 4-man weave, if you will, in the outfield. Every one of them is going to get a lot of playing time, including Jackie Bradley Jr. A lot of moving parts in that outfield for sure.
Alex Wood and a 2-2 count on Garcia. Took a while to get the right one, so Garcia steps out. Rock mentioned that Avi's dropped significant weight. He's dropped about 30 pounds now. And says he feels great. Never been this light, he said. That ball smoked into center field right at Duggar for the out. And you can't hit it any harder than that.
No. Right at the center field. It makes that a tough play for the guy in center. Played it perfectly in center field, but Garcia continues to swing a good bat. Looks like a changeup. He's been working on a changeup. That's a much improved pitch. Garcia able to wait back. Nice easy swing and hits a bullet into center.
You know, that's an out, but how often is that pitch in that location a ground ball?
Or a swing and a miss.
Smoked it. Here's Yelich now. He's up there hacking big cut on the first offering. Christian just going about his business here. Getting a start today in left field. Been a couple of days since Yelich was in the lineup. The Brewers did enjoy an off day on Sunday, a team off day. Yelich didn't play yesterday. Into center field. That was on the handle a little bit. Duggar will make the play for out number 2. Yelich playing in his 4th game of the spring. Get a couple at bats, maybe 3 today, we hope.
The numbers really aren't there for Christian at this point. Nobody's really concerned about that right now, but he's been swinging the bat pretty well. I mean, he's hit some balls hard. That one off the handle a bit.
Well, now the man who's born to be a Brewer, Daniel Vogelbach. Boy, what a surprise he was last year when the Brewers signed him. Excellent hitter for Milwaukee last year, and an otherwise down season offensively. Vogelbach playing in his 5th spring training game, has a couple of hits. That includes a double.
He showed a really good ability to go to left field last year. It took some tough pitches that were off the outside edge, just kind of served him out into left field.
Gave him some pop off the bench last season in limited play. Vogelbach has walked 3 times. He always brings that great plate discipline to the plate, and a team with a lot of strikeouts up and down their lineup, the Brewers. Vogelbach, you look at him, you think, well, he's a big strikeout power hitting guy, and that's true to some extent on the power, but he takes his walks, and he's a put the ball in play kind of guy as well. He really can shorten up and hit the ball to the opposite field. He's got an unusual swing.
He's got a good 2-strike approach, really, from what we saw last year with the Brewers. A .328 batting average.
He takes a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Daniel Vogelbach. All these left-handed hitters getting at bats against a left-handed pitcher, and a good one in Alex Wood. And rolls over one foul. What is it about his swing, Rock? I've tried to explain it. There's a little top hand maybe, but it's a level swing. You know, it's not that launch angle swing that we're seeing a lot of.
It's not a big loopy swing. It's a pretty direct swing right to the baseball. Check it out. Not a lot of movement with the upper body. Kind of wristy, kind of handsy swing. Uses his wrists. He's got those big wrists. He can't even tighten his batting gloves.
I mean, that's the baseball version of you with headsets.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I stretch him out easily. Yeah. Extra large.
He can't get the Velcro together.
Yeah.
You're saying.
Yeah.
You know this pain. That one's outside, draws a walk. There's a good at bat. Man, you love those in spring training.
Yeah, he was asked about that last year, and he said, no, it's nothing superstitious. They're just too tight
just doesn't fit
when I put the Velcro around.
Cuts off the circulation. Here comes another red-hot hitter for the Brewers, Manny Pena. The pineapple in there as a designated hitter today. I kind of like what Council's been doing with his catchers. You know, they'll play 4 or 5 innings. Typically, whoever's catching the game will stay through. The relievers that are on the big league team are going to start the big leagues. And then as you start getting some of the, you know, the guys are trying to make a team or maybe non-roster invitees, they'll make a change. But they're playing 4 or 5 innings a game, getting a couple of at-bats, but they're both in the lineup a lot. One is the DH. So today, Omar Narvaez is catching, and Pena is in as the designated hitter.
Yeah, so you figure Narvaez maybe get a couple of at-bats, maybe 3, who knows, and then out. Figure Manny's going to get ample playing time this year, especially if he continues to swing the bat like he has so far this spring.
The Brewers love their catching situation here. Narvaez and Pena both are excellent with pitching staffs, great communicators. They're just good guys. First of all, great teammates. Then you have the right-handed Pena and the left-handed hitting Narvaez. Fly ball into right field. The wind's blowing. Backing up on it is McCarthy. And he's got it to end the inning. So the Brewers get a couple on, unable to scratch a run. We're off and running in Phoenix, Arizona, 1-0 Giants.
We switch.
American Family Fields in Phoenix. Hey, get ready for the return of fans at American Family Field. The Brewers are taking steps to keep all fans safe and healthy, including special cleaning protocols, socially distancing seating pods, hand sanitizing stations, and mobile concession ordering via the MLB Ballpark app. Learn more at brewers.com/COVID.
So many words I never thought we'd hear, but that's the way we are. That's what we're doing right now to make sure everybody's safe and looking out for one another, and so we can have fans in the ballpark. American Family Field is going to have 25% to start the year, and hopefully that's going to increase as these vaccinations are ongoing. American Family Fields of Phoenix, the spring training home, and here we go with Hauser and a bunt attempt by Duggar. That's a strike. Bunted right through it. Well, I saw yesterday was over in the West Valley, they call it, where the football stadium is, and where the Arizona Cardinals play, and they had the vaccinations going through there, and what a systematic operation that was. Duggar fly ball left field, tough sun, that's going to fly, and it is gone. Duggar with an opposite field home run, and the Giants have a 2-0 lead.
You got to just play the conditions, right? Yeah, wind-blown home run. Same for both teams, though. We saw a lot of that in yesterday's game. See Manny setting up, or I should say Narvaez setting up in the zone. Hauser missed his spot, got it downstairs, and Duggar able to knock it out of here. Not going to take much. You get one up in the air, just like yesterday.
Yeah, this is a pitcher's beware kind of day today, as Will Wilson takes a strike. Some starch in those flags. And strike two. Quickly 0-2 on Will Wilson. And put him away on 3 pitches. Not messing around there. All fastballs. Strikeout for Hauser, his second.
Good two-seamers. Started off the outside corner, and then with late movement, able to catch the edge. Check it out. Well done. And Narvaez frames it nicely.
One away. Here is Marco Luciano. Little half swing strike. This is a guy that is going to be interesting to watch today. Giants' top prospect. They say he is a 5-tool player. Baseball people don't throw out those kind of accolades very often.
Right.
5 tools.
Yeah.
Speed, power, hit for average. And a swing and a miss. Boy, Hauser wiped him out quickly. So back-to-back Ks. Gives up the home run. 6 pitches later, he's got 2 strikeouts.
They struck out Wilson on a backdoor two-seamer. And then Luciano with a breaking pitch.
There's Lauer. Getting ready to enter next as Dickerson slaps one. Beats the shift. And he's 2 for 2 today, Alex Dickerson.
It's kind of what the Giants are going to have to do this year. I mean, you know, that ballpark in San Francisco, not real conducive for the home run ball. Going to have to make contact, manufacture runs, have big innings. That's what they did a year ago. I mean, their team batting average not bad. They have 4th in the NL.
Top 5 offense the Giants were a year ago in those categories.
And that's without Buster Posey.
Yeah, that was a surprise last season. Guys putting together good at-bats. Hitting coaches deserve a lot of credit when you get a result like that. That one's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on Darren Ruff. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning. Giants scored 1. Could have been much worse for Hauser in that first. They took Hauser out and let Jake Cousins finish the inning, and then Hauser returns in the second inning, relaxing the rules a little bit. The re-entry rule.
Angels did that yesterday.
Sure did. I'm all for just rolling the innings.
Just end them.
Yeah, especially if your team has a bunch of runners out there. Just, you know, hey, no run, sorry. Pitch count. Runner goes down and away, throw to second, and a short hop into center field. Stolen base for Dickerson. A good throw from Narvaez. He'll have a caught stealing, but that one came up a little short.
Yeah, a little short hop. Tried to get rid of it a little bit too quickly. Not sure if he had a handle on it, but yeah, good effort at it short, though. Robertson's been playing all over the place. Shortstop today. He's played the outfield. Tried to pick it and make a tag all at the same time. Couldn't do it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Now runner at second, and Ruff. Did he go? He did. A strikeout for Hauser. So he gives up 2 hits, including a homer, but strikes out 3. Looking like an old self a little bit.
As we head to the Brewers half of the second inning, and the Brewers Kids Crew is back for 2021, presented by U.S. Cellular. The Kids Crew comes with everything your kid needs for the season. Ticket vouchers, membership perks, and so much more. Learn more at brewers.com/kidscrew.
Look at those kids. They got it ready. He's got his glove on. He's in his catching stance, Rock. That's what I like to see, a future catcher. That's where all the smart kids play anyway. Narvaez on the first pitch. That is way back. The wind's got a hold of it, and goodbye. Omar Narvaez with a home run. Swinging away at the first pitch. He got Goodwood on it, got it up in the jet stream, and it flies out of here.
First pitch fastball. See you later. Lefty versus lefty. Hopefully Narvaez has a big offensive season. There it is, right down the middle. Was supposed to be on the outside corner, missed his spot, and a big fly to center field. You get it up in the jet stream today, pretty good chance it's going to leave the ballpark.
Narvaez puts the Brewers on the board as Wood misses to Orlando Arcia. Now, when the Brewers signed Narvaez, brought him to Milwaukee, the hope was that he would be a perfect fit for the ballpark. Brewers acquired Narvaez via trade with the Mariners.
Yeah, just couldn't get it going last year. Just wasn't the only one. A lot of guys in baseball just had a difficult time last year with all the protocols and the different look to the game. And hopefully right now, at least, a lot of these players are used to all that now. A little bit more accustomed to it. Know what to expect. You got fans back in the stands, and hopefully these guys get back to normal.
That's a foul ball off the bat of Arcia. One of the things you look at with Narvaez, his last year in Seattle prior to the trade, he had 22 home runs for the Mariners and played a lot, got 480 plus plate appearances that year. Year before that, 320 plus plate appearances, hit 9 homers. So they do think there's some power potential. He's shown that. That's a pitcher friendly park in Seattle. Narvaez did so much work last year to learn the staff and get prepared defensively. His offense slipped. That's a bullet fair right on the line. Down into the corner it goes. Arcia on his way to second base with a double. A couple of hard hit balls to start this second inning from Narvaez and Arcia.
And just getting the bat head out right there. It was a changeup before that pitch. I think that was a fastball. Changeup fastball. Arcia able to get that bat head out and tuck it inside that third baseline. Swinging the bat with a lot of authority down here this spring. But still with 2 strikes, and we saw it a few days ago. 2 strikes, he shortens up, And he will punch one to right field. We saw that last year.
Runner at second. And here is Derek Fisher now. And Wood deals a strike. Big innings, big at-bats as always for Fisher. Talked about this a little bit, but you start to see some grinding with players who are trying to make a team or trying to make a roster. And they're not just grinding for the team they're on, the uniform they're representing, but any teams that might be watching. Fisher's a big league player and hoping to return to the big leagues. Derek Fisher. And Wood puts one by him, a swing and a miss and a strikeout.
Fisher, one of those guys that he's kind of a classic left-handed hitter. He stands tall in the box. He likes the ball down. A little bit of an uppercut.
He reminds me a lot of Gabe Gross. Remember Gabe Gross?
Yeah.
All right, so one away. Here is Daniel Robertson.
Interesting. Craig Counsell has 5 left-handed hitters in his lineup today. Guess he wants to see what these guys can do against lefty.
And Wood zips one in for a strike.
Spring training's the time to do it. Always a method to the madness.
Yeah, no doubt. Got to make decisions. Robertson's another one of those guys trying to impress and grab a utility spot on this ball club.
He's playing just about every day. Different position.
Robertson with the Giants last year, very familiar with this group, and fouls that one off his foot. He was hit on that left foot yesterday, but it hit him on that padding, so no real effects there. Now he fouls one off that foot. That is a well-placed protective pad for Robertson.
Yep, right off that shin bone.
There for a reason.
It's got that big high leg kick.
It's got to be such a tough spring for a guy like Robertson. No minor leagues last year. He played in 13 games with the Giants in the big leagues. Rock, he got just 21 at-bats the whole season.
Yeah.
And now you're in here fighting for your career to try to put it back together and show what you can do. What they like about him is he can play short. He's a utility man that can play, a super utility man.
Everywhere.
Can play the outfield too, but he can play short. So they're a utility man that can bounce around, but then there's that extra layer of those who can play shortstop, and those players are extremely valuable.
Yeah. Just like his manager. That's a leg up, though. I mean, you can play that many positions at a high level.
With the Giants last year, I mentioned he only played in 13 games, but he played short, second, third, left field. He DH'd. So in a very little time, he proved he could be extremely versatile. Had 3 big league seasons with the Rays, did Robertson.
Yeah, it seems like every team has, at least 1 or 2 of those guys that can play all over the place. With all the pitching that you have to carry these days, I mean, that's a must.
I think for every player there comes a time in their career that if you're not the superstar type that's going to play one position, there's a reckoning at some point that you have to decide you're going to commit to playing multiple positions to keep your career alive. And the players who have the smallest window in that reckoning are usually the ones who have the success. A lot of guys, though, they'll hang on, especially you're getting, if you're drafted as a shortstop and you've got ideas you're going to play shortstop in the big leagues, which is exactly what Robertson was. He said he actually feels most comfortable at third base, but he knows he's got to play everywhere.
This is a good at bat right here. He's working it. Been able to foul off some off-speed pitches, the changeup in particular.
Colton Wong due next, leadoff man for the Brewers. Robertson hoping to get him a chance with some men on. 40th pitch for Wood. And he fights another one off. Now, truthfully, these kind of at-bats in spring training can have as much impact on the evaluators as anything. It may not result in a hit, but he's up there. He's seeing everything, fouling it off.
Are you saying that's a lot better than a first pitch homer?
Yeah. Now you want to go ahead and try to go for the first pitch homer. And he takes a ball. Ball 4. That works.
Yeah.
It's not as good as a first pitch homer, but it works.
They're going to roll the inning.
So Wood getting to a pitch limit, and the Brewers rally is snuffed by Gabe Kapler. Taking advantage of the rules, Rock. Two to 1, Giants lead the Brewers as we head to the top of the third. Brewers just had an inning rolled on them. Otherwise, they certainly would have had the lead. Hey, losing a personal hero can have a lifetime emptiness for a child. Camp Hometown Heroes heals hearts and builds bonds for the children of fallen military. It's a great program. We support it wholeheartedly, and we ask you to as well. Visit camphometownheroes.org. All right, Rock, Eric Lauer will be next out of the Brewers bullpen. Get into the pitching wheel. So Adrian Hauser pitched across 2 innings, re-entered in the 2nd inning. Jay Cousins got an out, and now it's Lauer up for the 3rd.
Yeah, forgettable season for him a year ago after putting together some pretty good numbers with the Padres in 2019. 8-10 record, 445 earned run average with San Diego, and 29 starts in 2019.
And facing Kurt Casale to start it. Let's check in with Sophia Minert. She's got an old friend down there in the dugout, Travis Shaw. Go ahead, Sophia.
Yeah, we got Travis Shaw with us, and Travis is actually going to be coming into the game later, taking over as designated hitter for Manny Pena. And Travis, you were just saying that you've been working on some adjustments with hitting coach Andy Haynes. That's why you're going for the extra at-bats here today. Can you share just what you've been working on these first couple of games?
Yeah, just a little bit more with my setup and kind of how my first movement is on my load a little bit. There was some things that we found Saturday that is on top of me. There's some things that we found Saturday that we thought we could clean up a little bit. So Andy searched Saturday night, texted me before the off day and said he found something that might work, and we did it yesterday. Yesterday felt really good, so he just wanted me to get a little bit more game reps to kind of feel it again and keep going in the right direction.
Well, and you're trying to refine what worked for you so well your first 2 years with this team in 2017 and 2018, a pair of 30 homer seasons for you. What did you like about the opportunity about coming back here to the Brewers?
It was a good fit, good roster fit, very comfortable here, knew all the guys, knew all the staff. They knew what I could do. They've seen me good, they've seen me bad, so for me there's a little bit of an opening there at third base that I thought that I could help this team and make this team, so it seemed like a no-brainer for me from the start. And then once the Justin Turner deal kind of fell the other way, it picked up steam, and glad it worked out.
And I know you were frustrated with how things ended in 2019, but what did you find last year, despite a shortened season, 60 games, your time with the Blue Jays? Did you get kind of back to where you maybe wanted to be?
It was a step in the right direction. I wouldn't say I was all the way back, but it was definitely way better than it was in 19. So a little bit of a slump there at the end of, what was that, August, but finished September really strong in Toronto, and felt really good going into the offseason. And so far, so good this spring. Haven't had a ton of base hits to show for it, but the bats have been really good, and I'm pleased with where I'm at right now.
Your first couple of games, what do you think of the defense? Adding Colton Wong at second, Keston moving over to first. You know, we've seen Luis Arias in Orlando there as well, who you're obviously very familiar with.
Yeah, the defense is going to be, I mean, it's noticeably better in the infield. You add Jackie Bradley, too, and that's another Gold Glove. You got 3 Gold Glovers in the outfield now, and the defense is going to be a huge strong point of this team. Everybody knows how good the pitching staff is, and when you can put that type of defense behind them, it's only going to help.
You probably know Jackie Bradley Jr. as well as anybody, considering how long you guys played together coming up with the Boston Red Sox. Give us the profile on JBJ, what Brewers fans can look forward to having him with Milwaukee.
Unreal defender. I mean, he gets some of the best jumps in the outfield off the bat that I've ever seen. He plays the wall extremely well. Just a great human being, too. Super quiet, super laid back, plays hard every single day. He's going to leave it all out there. So I think you're going to see some pretty spectacular defensive plays, and it overshadows his offensive ability. Everybody just talks about his defense, but he's a good hitter too. I mean, he's a really good hitter, and overall, just speed, defense, hitting. He's got pretty much all the tools.
Were you part of the recruiting committee?
We kept in touch pretty frequently over the last couple weeks before it finally became official.
All right, I think BA's got a question for you.
Travis, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We got to talk some college hoops here.
Yeah, the Buckeyes look good this year.
Buckeyes.
They had a little bit of a dry spell the last week, but overall, it's been a pretty good year this year.
Are you all in? Are you feeling Final Four, Travis? Or are you? Because I know you're a big Chris Holtmann guy.
I am. We'll see what the draw looks like here in a couple weeks after the Big Ten tournament. But I'll tell you what, Holtmann's done an unbelievable job in Columbus in his short 3-4 years or however long he's been there now.
There's a fly ball into right field. Garcia's going back. Wynn's got a hold of this one, and it's off the wall. Takes a big bounce off the wall. Fisher over to recover. And it's going to be second and third. Well, Travis, we look forward to watching you later in the day. I think with a win like this, it's kind of a hitter's dream to get your at-bats.
Yep, for sure. So we'll see how it goes later today.
You look good in Brewer blue, man. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Travis, for the time.
Yep.
Not real excited about what Travis's Buckeyes did to my Clemson Tigers in football this year. That was quite the performance.
No doubt. He's a huge Ohio State fan. And
yeah.
It was a few years ago, Travis and I, remember when he was training in Milwaukee, he stayed for the off season, and we went down to a basketball game. I was calling the game, and he tagged along, and you know, he's a pretty mild-mannered guy, Travis Shaw, but we went into a coaches meeting with Chris Holtmann, and he was like pretty wide-eyed. He was really interested in all the dynamics of a college basketball program. And
was he speechless?
He's kind of always speechless.
Yeah, kind of, isn't he? Yeah.
You can't tell.
He's deep in thought.
It's good to have Travis back. We wish him the best. I mean, he's got a date of March 15th, and I know he's
it's coming up.
Yeah, he's sick of talking about it because we always ask him. But
it'd be nice for Travis to have a nice spring, make the ball club. Be nice to have a power-hitting left-handed hitter over at third base. You know, you got Arcia, Urias.
He's done it before.
Yeah.
He's got the good vibes going.
And he's really good defensively over at third base. And the one thing I took away from that interview with with Travis there is that the fact that Andy Haynes is working deep into the night looking at Travis Shaw's video to try and figure something out to get him going. I mean, it goes to show you how hard these coaches work even in spring training to try to make these guys better.
Andy deserves a lot of credit. You don't really hear about the coaches that often unless things are going bad. There's Andy next to Craig Counsell. Christian Yelich raves about Andy Haynes and the work he's done. A swing and a miss. Dubon comes up empty.
It's like during the regular season, and I kind of joke around them with the guys in the trucks. You know, anytime a guy hits a home run, all the shots are on the guy hitting a home run. Get a guy to strike out with the bases loaded, you get a shot of the hitting coach.
That's right. Pitching coach only goes to the mound when things are going bad.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of the nature of the business.
Too bad.
Yeah, they know that. Yep, these coaches put in a lot of time, and they really want the players to succeed. They do a lot, and that doesn't surprise me at all that Andy is carrying that to his hotel or home, wherever he's living here this spring, to constantly thinking about all these players and how he can unlock them. And the ball club needs a guy like Travis Shaw to take the reins of third base. I mean, that would be huge if Travis can get back to what he was a few years ago. I mean, he had a 100 RBI season with the Brewers.
Yeah.
So that job's open, and you're trying to give everybody the best chance they can to seize it. And I also like the fact they're going to create a little path for him to put that into play today, to get in the game and get some at-bats and see if, you know, what you're working on, the mechanics can try to get that transferred into game action, which is not easy either. It's hard to be thinking mechanics when you're up there trying to compete in an at-bat.
Yeah, you can't be thinking about anything other than the baseball in a game. Everything has to be second nature. It has to be routine.
Eric Lauer delivers. Dubon takes ball 4. So a walk, a double, and now Dubon with a walk. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. We might set a Cactus League record for innings rolled today.
Hey, Eric having a rough spring. He really is. Third appearance. He has made a start. Bigger and run average, just could not seem to get it going. And that started last year.
It's a lot of pressure on Eric Lauer as well. Acquired from the Padres. And just didn't have the season that he was hoping for, was injured. He got put in the COVID protocol. He didn't test positive last year, but he was in close contact with someone who did, and he couldn't get started when we resumed in summer camp. That one misses, and it's 2 balls and no strikes on McCarthy.
He relies on pinpoint control and just can't find it. Knows he doesn't have the kind of stuff he can get away with pitches down the middle, trying to work the edges and just missing, falling behind.
Center field hit well. Fisher will watch this one off the wall, stays in play, gonna score 1 for sure. Here comes Ramos, he'll score, and it's a 2 RBI single, a long single by McCarthy, and the Giants have added to their lead. It's now 4-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know, he tries to find the edges, only to count, falls behind, then has to throw one down the middle. And this is normally what happens when you don't throw very hard, right down the middle, lefty versus lefty. McCarthy hammers it off the fence for a couple of RBIs.
And they will roll the inning here. So Lauer gets to a pitch count. And the Giants score twice. Ends the inning.
Better is on.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by We're All In. Downtown Phoenix. You see the home of the Diamondbacks. Part of the downtown setting as well. Not too far from there, we're at American Family Fields of Phoenix. In Phoenix proper. About 12 miles from downtown. Tyler Rogers next on the mound for the Giants. We have had 3 innings stopped or changed with a reliever. So 2 innings have been rolled already. 4-1 Giants, bottom of the 3rd inning, and Rogers will take over for Alex Wood.
Yeah, big dude. He's a side armor. Throws about 82, 83 with that submarine style slider to go with it. Well, he's 6'5", 190 pounds. He was drafted in 2013.
Colton Wong leads off. Look out over his head.
How'd that miss him?
He pulled a matrix right there to avoid that.
I thought that was going right for the head.
Oh boy.
Man.
Jeez. Good thing it didn't have any sink on it.
Hang in there, Colton.
Got to be a little unnerving.
Especially with a right-handed submariner. You don't expect something like that.
Yeah, Rogers not just a submarine pitcher. I mean, this is extreme sidearm. I mean, like old school underhand type.
And Quisenberry stuff.
The upshoot.
Kent to Colby. Am I dating myself?
There aren't many of those guys around anymore.
No.
Again, KYG, know your game. Sometimes you got to change it in order to survive, and that's what he's done. 1-2 the count on Colton Wong. Big free agent acquisition. Sends one into left field. Little lazy fly ball. Dickerson will run it down. And there is out number 1. Odd release point.
Knuckles scraping on that ground almost. Tough on a right-handed batter. This is going to be a challenge for Avi.
Every pitcher I've ever talked with that throws like this say the key to that, you really have to work at strengthening your core and your back, because it takes a lot of torque, a lot of pressure. Not that they're not doing that anyway, but a little extra work is involved when you throw this way. Brewers have a pitcher like this, Eric Yardley. He's not as extreme as Rogers, but he's down there. Yeah, late Garcia on an 82-mile-an-hour fastball. How often do you say that? He's late on 82.
Right. You really have to keep that front shoulder closed. I mean, the tendency is for a right-handed hitter to open up a little bit. That kind of makes that slider a little bit more effective. Doesn't go down at all, just kind of goes across.
1 ball, 1 strike. A swing and a miss. A fastball. We're going to see Eric Yardley later today, by the way. I think he's on the list to pitch, if you're wondering. Have you seen the list? Do you have the list, Rob? Do you want the list?
No, I don't. I want to be surprised.
Okay. Well, you're in for a treat then, my friend.
I'm in for a treat, buddy.
Swing and a miss.
There's that slider.
At 73 miles an hour. A little spinner for a strikeout.
That sinker going in on him, and then kind of just a spinner up there. Doesn't break a whole lot. Tries to keep that front shoulder closed, but it's tough. Very easy to pull off that pitch.
Now, would that be an upshoot? You know, the old school terminology they used to use?
Yeah.
Okay.
Upshoot, downshoot, inshoot.
Shoot. And if you throw it right, you just get a plain shoot from the hitter as he goes the other way. Back to the dugout.
I was a young kid playing catcher with my granddad. He used to call it an outshoot.
Oh, yeah?
It's a good outshoot.
Nice.
I said, what?
I like that. Upshoot, outshoot, inshoot. I'm in. I think I'm going to bring back all the old-timey baseball language this year. Just going to go all in. You know, there was a day before it was illegal to release the ball above your waist in Major League Baseball.
That a long time ago.
Turn of the century, back before the turn of the 1900s, back when Rock was just getting his career going.
Yeah.
He remembers.
When they invented the catcher's mask. Yeah.
Was that Roger Bresnahan invented the shin guards? Or?
Boy, he was a smart guy.
He's not as smart as the guy who invented the protective cup. Whoever that guy is deserves a plaque somewhere.
Well, you think back in those days, I mean, the catcher was like halfway to the screen.
Yeah, the hind catcher.
Back here.
He'd just go fetch it, just pick it up.
Think about how far the umpire was behind home plate.
Well, there was just one umpire, and he was out behind the mound.
Yeah.
Yelich stays right in there and delivers one to right. Boy, that was a beautiful piece of hitting right there. Completely fooled, but Yelich able to square it up.
It's all about keeping the hands back. I mean, you can get out on that front foot, but you keep the hands back, you still have a chance. And watch his hands. They stay back, and then right to the baseball, and that's how you hit a ball hard when you're out on your front foot a little bit.
Had the second highest exit velocity on average last year. what he calls a terrible year, but he also was
hitting some bad luck.
Involved in some bad luck, and that's not just a general statement anymore. We can actually measure that with exit velocity, and so he was second in the big leagues last year in that category, but the numbers didn't reflect it.
Small consolation for Christian.
By the way, number 1 on that list, Fernando Tatis Jr. Vogelback takes a ball. 4-1 Giants. We've rolled a couple of innings. Still having a tough time reconciling how to finish the scoreboard, the scorebook, Rock.
Are you really worried about that?
I'm just drawing a line under it.
Tell me you're not really concerned about that.
It's bothered me a little bit. Fly ball to left. And that is going to retire the side. So the sidewinder, Tyler Rogers, works a scoreless inning. Yelich has his second hit of the spring. And we go to the 4th in Phoenix.
New baseball season. The Brewers team store is stocked with the latest hats, jerseys, T-shirts, accessories, and much more. Check out the updated hours for the official team store at brewers.com/team store.
Tuesday afternoon, Phoenix, Arizona, American Family Fields of Phoenix. Spring training home of the Brewers. Yeah, he's ready to go. Hit one to me. He might have a chance to get one today. The wind's blowing out. Omar Narvaez has homered for the Brewers. Steven Duggar has hit one out for the Giants. 4th inning, and Lauer will return to the mound after they rolled the inning last inning, and a swing and a miss from Duggar. Duggar hit an opposite field home run in the 2nd inning, his 2nd of the spring. Shows bunt again. He did that last at bat as well. This time he takes a ball. Eric Lauer. He and Luis Urias coming to the Brewers prior to last season. Trade with the Padres. Trent Grisham and Zach Davies. Grisham won a Gold Glove last year. Davies had an excellent year for San Diego, but the Padres traded him this offseason. He was part of that Yu Darvish deal. If you don't know, Zach Davies is now a Cub. We'll see a lot of him, I'm sure. They always said he was the Kyle Hendricks comp.
Oh boy.
And now they're together. Same staff.
Jose Quintana no longer a Cub. That's good news for the Brewers.
Yeah, he's with the Angels now.
Yeah. Yu Darvish gone.
Lester's gone. Lester's with the Nationals. Full count on Duggar. Zach Davies pitched yesterday for the Cubs. Went 3 innings, no hits, no runs. Good pitcher. I'm sure the Brewers are going to see him plenty this year. Brewers have the Cubs pretty early in the schedule, if I recall. I haven't quite memorized the schedule yet, like I normally do. You're going to see the Cubs' second series at Wrigley Field, April 5, 6, and 7. And then the Cardinals after that. So you start the season. This is the first 4 series of the year. Twins at home, Cubs at Wrigley, Cardinals in St. Louis, Cubs at home at American Family Field.
Right.
Yikes.
Yeah.
We'll find out quickly where you are. Then the Brewers will have a series against the Pirates, and then they travel to San Diego. Another road trip that'll go San Diego, Chicago to face the Cubs. It's going to be a tough first month.
Yeah, then the end of the month, the Dodgers come into town.
Duggar draws the walk. Now we're having a tough time. He has given up 3 walks and 2 hits. Has not recorded an out yet. Both hits were doubles.
Well, it's a decision he has to make. I mean, does he play with the middle of the plate when he doesn't have as good command, or does he just keep trying to catch the edges? And when you don't have hitters chasing, it becomes a lonely feeling out there in the mound.
And he misses to start Will Wilson.
He fell behind McCarthy last inning. Had to come right down the middle. He hit one off the wall in center.
Adrian Hauser started this one. Jake Cousins got it out in relief of Hauser. And now Eric Lauer pitching in his second inning. Runner goes upstairs, throw to second. The tag not in time. Long tried that quick tag. 2 stolen bases for the Giants today against Narvaez. And a runner at second base with nobody out.
Yeah, that one sailed on him a little bit to the right field side of the bag. I mean, if it's right on the money, I think they get him. Quick release, good throw. Throw a little bit off the mark. Never did make the tag.
Up the line. Two and one the count on Will Wilson. How does wind affect a catcher when you're thinking about throwing?
Doesn't.
No.
Especially when it's blowing out.
Blowing out, that's good. That's good for you. Blowing in, it could probably.
Well, you know, I was never really concerned too much about the wind direction on a throw to second base. These guys have good arms. I don't have to worry about that. In the outfield, a little bit different.
Hey, George, run this guy if you have to, okay? Hey, run him out of here. Tired of looking at him. Yeah, you take care of it.
3-2 the count. And Lauer, long look. That one's deep but foul. Count will stay 3-2. A lot of pitches for Lauer here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's thrown 35 pitches. He's faced 5 batters. This is the 6th batter faced.
Just doesn't have that put away stuff. You remember his first appearance, you know, as a Brewer against the Cubs? Was it 2 innings, 6 punch outs? Was it 2 1/3? His best outing of the year, and just couldn't get it going after that.
And the 3-2 is in there. There's a good one. Inside corner. Caught the edge for a strikeout for his first out.
He's got to keep grinding it out. You can see where Narvaez is setting up on the outside corner. Middle in, missed his spot, but worked out well.
Tell you, that was a nice piece of framing there by Narvaez, wasn't it? I mean, he did a good job sticking the landing.
Yeah, he's worked hard at that.
Catchers can make such an impact behind the plate. The way they catch the ball, the way they move around, blocking pitches, framing's all part of it.
Try not to move the body at all. Just kind of move the glove a little bit. The more you move the body, the more apt the umpire is to call it a ball. They don't like that movement.
1 ball, no strikes. Lauer from the stretch. And a strike in there on Luciano. Rock and I talk about this all the time, and you know, defensive metrics are still developing. You know, it doesn't always give you a good understanding. The framing numbers, just because a catcher has great framing numbers doesn't equate to him being a great defensive catcher. However, framing numbers do matter, and if you're able to get all those pitches on the edge as strikes like Narvaez did last year, then that's a bonus. A lot of that has to do with who you're catching them.
Right.
So I always use the example. I remember one year Jonathan Lucroy, he was catching guys like Randy Wolf and was it Jeff Suppan and maybe Lowe? I don't remember the guy, but they're all command pitchers. Giovanni Gallardo, guys who hit their spots. And so it's much easier to frame those pitchers.
Kyle Loesch, yeah.
And then I think the next, and Lucroy was at one of the tops in the league. And then the next year he got Jimmy Nelson and Peralta and some guy with nasty sliders that are throwing 97, and it was a little different.
Yeah, more times than not, guys that are around the plate are going to get that marginal strike call, and the catcher can certainly help that, but you're not going to be able to pull one foot off the outside corner to get called a strike. And if you're moving around a lot, you're not going to get a lot of those.
20th pitch of the inning right there for Lauer. Nobody in the bullpen, so they'd likely roll another inning. And that misses inside. His command is not there. Another 3-2 count. Can be a lonely place on that pitcher's mound. All eyes on you.
Especially if you know when you're throwing down the middle, it's going to get hit hard somewhere.
Luciano at the plate, and he fouls one away.
The breaking ball.
A boot by Ron Wotus, longtime Giants coach. Man, he was managing in Double-A when I was broadcasting in the Texas League 27 years ago. A lifer. Fly ball to right. Garcia backing up on it. Runner at second. Duggar's going to tag. There's the catch. Here comes the throw. Cut off. Second out of the inning.
I bet Wotus and Rick Sweet has some stories to share.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Garcia didn't like that throw. Offline a little bit. It's not that he had a legitimate chance to throw out Duggar, but as outfielders, especially this time of year, spring training, you know, you want to
just work on it.
Yeah, take advantage of opportunities to make a throw. That gives you an idea how hard he grinds, though, striving for perfection. It wasn't that bad. Dickerson takes a ball high. Garcia does have an outfield assist this spring. Threw out a runner at third base.
Got a terrific arm.
A strike, and it's 1-1. Dickerson 2 for 2 and a stolen base. Scored a run as well. Lauer trying to finish an inning. Could be his last hitter with a high pitch count. Man, look at that play by Narvaez.
Yeah,
wow.
glove saving a beauty.
Oh. Well, you got one chance at that one.
Saved a run. Do they have a stat for that yet?
Nope. Well, internally they do. I don't know about an official one.
Yeah, that's a tough play right there. Fastball down there like that. You don't expect it in the dirt.
So let me ask you, he didn't try to catch that ball. You see how like his hand was fanned open?
Yeah, wide open.
Just trying to stop it.
Surface area maximized.
Using all the real estate available with that.
Knock it down.
That was a really good play.
Mike Uke used to catch knuckleballs. According to him.
3-1 pitch and a swing and a miss. Full count. Bob Uecker has the day off today. The whole radio team out sitting by the pool, sipping on a drink with an umbrella probably right now. 3-2, and it's ball 4. And let's see if they're going to roll this one. That's a high pitch count here, so yep. Last hitter here is what they say. All right, so Darren Ruff will step up. Dickerson walks. The 4th walk issued by Lauer. Dickerson's going to be pinch run for. He's done for the day. That's a successful day. 2 hits and a walk. Hunter Bishop is the pinch runner, Rock. Write that down.
I got it.
You're going to need that later. Strike one to Darren Ruff. Ruff was hit by a pitch and he struck out.
He just can't find his own, can he? Yeah, catcher sometimes will try and adjust the target and move it around a little bit. Lauer just grinding out there.
It's not easy for him right now. You can see it in his body language. And that's going to go back to the screen. Now the run will score. Be a wild pitch. 5-1 Giants. A long day for that man too, Narvaez.
Yeah.
Catchers feel the pain. Not quite as severe as the pitchers, but they feel it. They want these guys.
I mean, that's a fastball, not even close.
Both runners advancing. 2-1, and now it's 3-1. Count is full now. Big cut to miss.
At some point, you just got to figure Lauer's got to be thinking, I'm just going to throw him down the middle, see what happens. It looked like that last pitch was just like that. And he got the swing and a miss.
Could be his last pitch. 3-2 misses, and that's another walk. And that's going to end the inning here. They're going to roll the inning. Giants will have the bases loaded, but inning is over. Pitch limit. Tough day for Lauer. Menard's on deck. Pena, Narvaez, Arcia coming up next when we continue. And Brewers Community Foundation partner every season in an effort to support our community. Nearly 100% of our players provide financial support for nonprofits throughout greater Milwaukee. Brewers Community Foundation thanks the players for their generosity and dedication to supporting community initiatives. You didn't feel like reading that one, partner? Are you already passing along your responsibilities this early in the spring?
I never got one. I mean, I'll read anything they throw in front of me.
Well, who's pitching?
Including today's lunch menu if they want. Matt Whistler spent last year with the Minnesota Twins, 18 games and a 107 earned run average. Really good stuff out of Whistler. Spent time with the Braves, the Reds, the Padres. He's moved around quite a bit.
I'm going to need your support here the next few innings.
I'm in.
This is when things get. I get a little stretched as a play-by-play announcer when all the substitutions start to happen.
A little testy.
I need you on your toes now.
Oh no, Bess got it.
Manny Pena leading off for the Brewers. Tell you, my scorebook is just a disaster. How many rolled innings have we had? 3?
Yeah.
I don't know how to reconcile all this, Rock.
And we had a pitching change in the first inning.
Yeah, we had a pitching change and a re-entry and 3 rolled innings. And we're still only in the bottom of the 4th. Okay. But whatever, man. It's good to just see baseball.
Yeah, beautiful weather. Crack of the bat.
Look at this day.
Yeah.
Whistler deals, and there's a strike. It reminds me to say hello to some of our favorite people, Giants broadcasters, Dwayne Kuiper, Mike Krukow, Dave Fleming, John Miller. We love those guys.
Yeah, no kidding.
They're not out here working.
You know who I want to say hello to and a happy birthday? You know, Ed Cedar.
Uh-huh.
His wife, Marcia, it's her birthday tomorrow. We're not on the air tomorrow.
Okay.
I was texting with Eddie earlier. He asked me to give Marcia a shout out. I'm not sure when Squirt's birthday is. I'm sure he's going to text us when his dog Squirt has a birthday coming up. Happy birthday, Marcia.
Yep.
Yeah, we miss both of them around here these days. Although Eddie was here for a while, a couple of weeks.
Got things started. He built the foundation of this 2021 spring training. Longtime coach, first base and third base, Ed Cedar. Omar Narvaez been one of the few bright spots today. He homered in the second inning. Swung at the first pitch, launch one out of here. One of the reasons I thought about the Giants announcer, Dwayne Kuiper, was as we see the home run swing by Narvaez.
Pass ball, Alex Wood. Narvaez gives it a ride into center field. Let's see another, 20, 25 more of those this year.
First of the spring for Narvaez. But when I was asking you about do you want the changes and you want the pitchers, and you seemed indifferent. Our friend Dwayne Kuiper, he's got those business cards he had printed out, and on those business cards, it's not his name and his phone number or anything like that. It's just a simple statement, and he's got a number of different phrases. But his go-to is the business card that says "Don't care." So you will be telling Dwayne Kuiper a story, and you see him kind of going into his wallet, fishing around for this business card, and as you're telling the story and he's saying Narvaez draws the walk, and then his timing is perfect. As soon as you finish your story, he'll flip this card out and hand it to you.
Yeah.
And then you grab it and look at it, and it says in very small print, "Don't care,"
with an exclamation point. The other one, he gave me a few of those cards. The other one says "Stop talking."
That's right. That's a good one. That's if you never get to a period. Sometimes he'll change in midstream.
Oh God, funny man.
Very funny man.
Kruko and Kite, best in the business.
Yeah, those guys are
there. Something else.
Some of our favorite guys in the world. And the Kuiper boys from Wisconsin, was Sturdivant, right? Is their home? Yep. You got one brother on the air with the Giants. You got the other producing. The other brother's over with the A's as a play-by-play man. The Kuiper family circus.
Yeah, whenever they would come to Milwaukee, with the Giants, he'd show at the ballpark with Kringles.
That's right. Not just one Kringle.
No, just a whole stack of them.
A pallet full of Kringles. Oh, and to the count on Arcia. He leans out on one, base hit. Just over the diving Dubon. On his way to third goes Narvaez. He's in there. The ball was mishandled by Bishop in left field. You got to like Narvaez pushing the envelope.
How about Arcia? He continues to swing the bat.
2 more hits today, partner.
A good piece of hitting by Arcia. There's that slider going down and away. And just takes a little off that swing. One hands it and finds the left field. And once he saw that ball mishandled out in the left, he turned on the afterburners and got into second base.
All right, so the Brewers with runners at second and third. And here is Derek Fisher. Fisher hits it sharply into left center. That's going to get down. 2 runs are going to score. Narvaez and Arcia. Into second is Derek Fisher with a 2 RBI double.
Brewers offense coming to life. Well, it's a 5-3 score right now. It's that breaking ball once again. The same pitch that Arcia hit into left field. This one down the middle. That's a nice piece of hitting by Fisher. Hits that one into left center. Couple of runs in. And Brewers still with something going.
Well, Fisher hit that right on the nose. Runner at second now for Daniel Robertson. And there's a strike from Whistler. 5-3 Giants. I feel like the score deserves an asterisk. Giants have had a couple of rallies where the inning has been rolled. I'm sure they wouldn't have scored anyway. No balls, 2 strikes. Whistler giving up a walk and 2 hits already. And that one got in on the hands of Robertson. Fly ball to right, put away by McCarthy. Not the Hall of Fame manager Joe McCarthy, the Giants outfielder. He's probably never heard that. How many World Series did Joe McCarthy win with the Yankees?
12. Something like that.
7, maybe 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the heyday. Joe McCarthy. Top of the order, Colton Wong now with 2 away. Got Fisher at second base. Wong his 3rd at bat. And on the first pitch, backhanded, nice play, Wilson, and
nice.
he gets Wong.
Real nice.
Boy, that was excellent by the Giants second baseman Will Wilson. Inning is over. Brewers get a couple of runs though on a 2 RBI double by Fisher. Giants come to bat. We go to the 5th already.
Chevy dealer. Visit WisconsinDrivesChevy.com.
Brewers spring training baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
More out of life. It's what everybody wants. To make more humanly possible, the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network connects you to the unmatched power of academic medicine to help you overcome the toughest challenges. Enjoy more tomorrows. Triumph. Each and every day, we do everything humanly possible, so you can too.
Brewers Spring Training Baseball is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs.
Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin. What a view, huh?
Amazing.
Scenic Phoenix, Arizona. Epic hiking trails in this city. Get a good burn.
Spectacular vista points. You know, on Sunday on the off day, went to the Grand Canyon.
How was it?
That is amazing. We were there last year. We went back. Just unbelievable. As Eric Yardley takes over here in the 5th inning. Great year for him a year ago. 24 appearances. Look at that earned run average. 154. They've got some big outs for the crew a year ago.
So we saw the sidewinder Tyler Rogers, and now the Brewers sidewinder Eric Yardley. Slings a breaking ball in on Casali to start it. Missed with it. Fifth inning from American Family Fields of Phoenix. Spring training home of the Brewers.
You ever been to the Grand Canyon?
I have not actually.
Yeah.
No, I never.
That is a must see. It's about 3.5 hours from Phoenix. 3 hours, 3.5, depends on how fast you go.
And then how long did you spend there looking at that big hole?
Well, 3 hours. 3 hours or so. Different vista points.
Right off the handle into center field for a base hit.
You know, they have a lot of, you know, the public areas that are fenced off, you know, right off the edges. Fenced off, and they have those telescopes, you know, you put a quarter in. But then he also has some areas where people can go out there with no net, no fence, no nothing.
No rail.
It is hanging off the edges, and I mean, it just does my stomach.
I can't handle
it. It turns my stomach just to watch these people taking selfies out there. It's amazing.
Oh.
But it is.
I wouldn't get 20 feet from the edge.
No. I mean, no. I mean, it is. You know, you're looking at 1,000 feet down. But the Grand Canyon, if you ever get out here, you got to try and make it out there. It's amazing. It really is amazing. Everybody that comes to Arizona.
Yeah, Sedona's a good spot too.
Yeah, one of the 7 wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon.
Elliot Ramos with a runner at first, and a wave and a miss. Yardley with the flutter ball, 73-mile-an-hour breaking ball. It's a fascinating rise to prominence last year with the Brewers.
It's a good job keeping the ball in the ballpark. Gave up only 2 home runs last year. That 2-seamer, a lot of ground balls. 23 in the 3rd innings for Yardley last year, 19 punch outs.
And he got him. He stayed with that breaking ball. First out of the inning. For more on Yardley, let's check in with Sophia Minute. What do you have, Soph?
Yeah, I asked Craig Counsell about Eric Yardley because at this time last year, Eric Yardley, he was just trying to make this team. He was a waiver claim from the San Diego Padres in the offseason heading into the 2020 season. So he was just competing to get onto that opening day roster, to get into that bullpen. And he ended up leading the team in appearances last year with 24 games, the 154 earned run average, as Rock said. And so Craig Counsell said he really did turn in a great season. And he said he would probably be a strong candidate for that unsung hero in that bullpen last year. Obviously, Josh Hader and Devin Williams, who went on to win reliever of the year and rookie of the year last year, got the headlines and all the highlights. But he said Eric Yardley was really that guy that held a lot of games together last year. And he said, especially in game 1 of that wild card series against the Dodgers, he said, you know, when Brent Suter struggled in game 1, it was Eric Yardley they turned to, and he turned in 2 1/3 really strong innings. So he said he comes into this spring training in a really different place considering the season he had a year ago, and they're just trying to get him ready, and hopefully he can turn in a comparable season to what he did last year.
Yeah, he's a big asset in that bullpen. I mean, a lot of hard throwers coming out of that bullpen, but it's Eric Yardley who really, you know, touches, 88 miles an hour, that keeps the ball in the ballpark. He'll get the ground ball outs, turn some double plays. He was outstanding a year ago. Not eye-popping stuff, just effective.
In the air to left field, hit pretty well. Long run, Yelich on a hop. That's a base hit for Dubon.
I tell you, these Giants are tough outs. I mean, they put together some good at-bats today. They are making this Brewers pitching staff work. Long counts, putting the ball in play for the most part.
It does feel like a committed effort to be this kind of offense in that kind of ballpark, which is what you need. You know, able to spray the ball and use all fields, and it's kind of a throwback offense,
yeah, no
tailored
kidding.
to the ballpark.
Yeah, Joe McCarthy type.
Yeah, he didn't have any home run hitters in his life.
No, not at all, no. Maybe John McGraw.
Yeah, I was thinking more Whitey Ford.
Yeah, John McGraw, the New York Giants.
Whitey Herzog, I should say, not
right.
Whitey Ford. McCarthy with a 2 RBI single in the 3rd inning. He certainly had enough on it for a double, but the runner ahead of him, Dubon, had to wait to see if it was going to be caught or not. And ended up with a long single. One and 2 the count on McCarthy. Been a tough day for Brewer pitching today. Giants have 7 hits, 5 runs, ton of walks. Had to roll a number of innings with high pitch counts. All this is gonna stop on March 13th. So the last day where the length of games, the rolled innings, that'll end on March 13th. That's a base hit into right field. Garcia's up with it. They'll hold the runner at third.
So you're going to play it straight, right?
Play it straight from the 14th on.
Right.
Still have a choice to go 7 or 9, you know, between 7 and 9. But
I tell you, this Giant offense, I mean, they have been on base. They've been clogging the bases all day. Another bases loaded situation for the Giants. There has not been a 3-up, 3-down inning in the game today.
just finishing an inning is a goal right now. Ball, no strikes, 1 out, bases loaded. Yardley does get a lot of ground balls. He'd love to get one from Duggar, who's very fast. Tough guy to double up. He'd have to hit one hard at someone. That's the way out if you're looking for a window. Duggar homered in the second, opposite field home run. Then he walked, stole a base, and scored a run last inning. Two balls and a strike. Yardley misses outside. 3-1 the count. And now 20 pitches for Yardley. There is no activity in the Brewer bullpen. Chris Hook, pitching coach, sitting next to Craig Counsell, and a couple of frustrated gentlemen right there. That's going to be a bases loaded walk.
That's the 7th walk issued by Brewers pitching today.
Yeah, we're only in the 5th with 1 out.
7 walks, 8 hits for the Giants. It's a lot of base runners.
There's only been 9 outs recorded by Brewer pitchers today. So they're loaded up for Wilson. Fouls away the first pitch. Well, you know what Harry Carey always said?
What was that?
They don't pay you just to do the good games.
Yeah, Harry had a bunch of really challenging games, didn't he?
Not that he ever remembered them, but
good games are easy to do.
No, those are the they fly by. There's a good pitch. It's a swing and a miss. Yardley threw that one at 88 miles an hour. That's good velocity for him from down under. And a called strike 3. Popped the edge with a fastball that time. That's a good comeback. Out number 2. Couple of strikeouts. So the pitch count has been achieved. 25. They'll roll yet another inning today. Those poor Giants. They stranded 3 more out there, Rock. They can't bring in a run to save their lives right now.
Man.
Bottom of the 5th inning. A reminder that Badger Sports Report is your all-access pass to University of Wisconsin sports every Tuesday night. And we'll bring you game highlights, features, and interviews to keep you up to date. Watch Badger Sports Report tonight, 6:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Say hello to Matt LePay. Badgers getting ready for the Big Ten basketball tournament. Sam Selman is on the mound, Rock. What do you got on this left-hander?
Yeah, left-hander. Last couple of years with the Giants. Last year, 24 games, a .372 earned run average. Had a save and a 1-1 record. Yeah, 6'3", 195 pounds. Second rounder out of Vanderbilt. And the Kansas City Royals.
What a program Vanderbilt has turned into. So Selman will face Avi Garcia, likely last at bat for these guys. Oh, that one's tagged into left field, and Garcia with another home run. Boy, jumped on the first pitch and just whistles one out of here. Avisail Garcia is on some tear here in the Cactus League.
Yeah, he's looking good. Nice short stroke, ball just jumping off his bat. Looking at the first pitch breaking ball. A rocket out of here. Check it out. Look how easy that swing is. Hanging slider, and Garcia gives it a right out of here to left center. Goodness.
Oh, collision. Bumper cars.
Offensive foul.
I think it was a block. Yelich takes a ball. Man, that's a way to finish your day. Avi Garcia. And remember his first at bat, he hit a rope to center field. That home run, his first hit of the day, came in hitting over 500 for the spring. Yelich in the air, left center. Wynn's got a hold of it, and another one is out of here. Christian Yelich goes back to back with Avi Garcia.
And someone's thinking that's not a home run at AT&T Park, San Francisco. Get it up in the wind, and you play the acoustics. Wind blew that one out of here. Another breaking ball. Yelich got under it, but hit it well enough. Wynn got a hold of it, ran it out of here. 6-5 Giants.
Yelich's first home run of the spring, and 2 hits today for Yelich. Selman misses inside to Vogelback.
Brewers picking on a couple of breaking balls, knocking them out of here.
Big Dan Vogelback, third batter of the inning. Couple home runs to start it. Selman deals right on the handle. Nice play. Throw in time for the out. They're going to pull him off the bag for a moment. That was Alcantara who just entered the game. No replay in spring training, and Mark Carlson, the crew chief, says, oh yeah.
And not even close, was it?
He's on the bag.
We see that one again.
Are you trying to stir up controversy?
No.
You see it immediately here.
Let's see. Huh?
Okay.
All right. Close enough. He's got his foot on there.
You know, the answer is yes, because Mark Carlson said so.
Doing what he can to help these pitchers get outs.
I mean, we're rolling innings. Umpires are making up calls. Whatever happens.
Right.
How about the Giants offensively? So they've had the last 3 innings at the plate. They've been rolled. Hey, Manny Pena stays hot with another hit. Well, we started our broadcast talking about Garcia and Pena, and both delivering today as Manny is aboard.
Well, he's looking good. You know, no signs of that knee problem he had that ended his season a year ago. Got it down on a trademark just enough, but able to muscle it out into center field. Good level swing from Manny. The longest tenured Brewer, believe it or not. Would you have guessed that?
No, that shocked me. Still does. I'm gonna have to look that up.
And Arcia right behind him.
Big swing by Narvaez.
I was doing a webcast one of the first games down here this spring. Jeff Levering and I were doing a webcast, and he told me that, and I could not believe it.
I mean, are we sure he's accurate? He's done his homework, Jeff Levering.
I'll ask him Thursday.
By the way, he just sent us a picture with him sitting by the pool. That's not great. That's not great form, or that's not a great visual. 1-1 pitch inside. Those guys deserve a day off.
Yeah, they do. Jeff's working a lot down here.
Brewers radio. Radio tomorrow. By the way, Brewers will be in Mesa to take on the A's. Narvaez with a swing and a miss. I think that'll be a Lane Grendel, Jeff Levering production tomorrow on the radio. Back on television against the Royals Thursday. Jackie Bradley Jr. supposed to make his debut against the Rangers Saturday. That's the plan for now anyway, barring any setbacks.
Yeah.
A spinner misses. And Narvaez with a good battle at the plate. He draws the walk.
He's walked a couple of times. A home run, a couple of walks. Means he's seeing the baseball pretty well right now.
So Orlando Arcia now. One man out. Brewers have 2 on.
I want to see this play. Hey. That's whew. I'd love to see that double.
Arcia has had a good day at the plate. Double down the left field line in the first. Hit a rocket just fair. And then had a single to left in the 4th inning. Hit another one hard. Snuck it past the diving third baseman, Dubon, at the time. Arcia was in the batting cage today. He and Colton Wong get some work in. Saw Jackie Bradley Jr. out there. Full of life, man. He's got the music in him. You rarely see Arcia when he's not moving. He's got that groove deep in his soul.
He just likes playing baseball. Let's face it. I mean, he's never really has a bad day. Of course, if he has, he hides it pretty well. Always has a smile on his face, enjoying himself. And why wouldn't you?
He's had some big hits for the Brewers in the postseason. That's delivered in the clutch. That's off his foot.
He's got that shin guard. Let's see where it gets him. Inside of the front foot.
Have to take his word for it. Oh, and 2 the count. 1 man out in the inning. Brewers have a couple of runs in, and Arcia chased one. Down on strikes. So the starters probably getting 3 at-bats. I think Arcia, not sure if he's going to be out there all day, getting as many reps as he can at third. Chase that breaking ball from Selman.
Kind of waved at it.
Here's Derek Fisher now. Fisher ripped one into the left center field gap in the 4th inning. Opposite field double that scored 2 last inning. A breaking ball misses down and away. Evens it at 1-1. Fastball at 90. But that curveball he's throwing is adding a little deception to it.
Yeah.
He was late on that fastball, was Fisher. One of the oldest phrases in baseball is when you're looking at velocity, scouting a pitcher, how his fastball plays, they'd always say the hitter will tell you. And you could tell there's something to his fastball there that got by him. That was by him as well. He was late on that one.
Sometimes it's the finish on a fastball, you know, the spin rate, they call it. You know, back in my day, he had good finish on his fastball. Maybe his delivery hides the ball. A lot of different things come into keeping a hitter off balance, not just the stuff.
Late life.
The more unusual the delivery, better it is for the pitcher, but it's kind of a fine line. I mean, the more unusual delivery maybe makes it a little bit more difficult to repeat that delivery.
And that pitch right there, that breaking ball, that does the trick too. So a strikeout to end the inning, but the Brewers get a couple of homers. Avi Garcia stays hot, pops his 2nd home run, and then Yelich, a Yelly bomb, 1st of the spring. Brewers within a run.
Season contest and select spring training games live or on demand with MLB.tv. Watch online or on your favorite supported device. Blackouts and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Well, here we go to the 6th inning. Giants are coming up. Brewers within a run now. Sophia Minnaert standing by down below with Eric Yardley.
Thanks, B.A. Eric, 1 inning of work for you today. Just how have the early appearances for you in the Cactus League gone?
Not bad. I'd like to see a little bit more success, but, you know, I mean, that's part of spring training is getting back to getting our arms under us, getting our feet under us, and just kind of seeing how things go. But like I said, it's still early. It was March 9th, I think. So, you know, I'm okay with how it went as far as how I felt out there.
What's that process look like for you, Eric, as you're ramping up, getting closer to opening day?
Get in there a few more times, mix in at least a back-to-back at some point in time. Like I've mentioned to you before, I like to throw a lot, so the more I can get in there, the better. And then, you know, I'm sure there's a couple of multi-inning outings in there at some point in time, but otherwise, just getting our feet under us, really.
Eric, do you think about just how different of a position you are at this point, coming into this camp versus where you were a year ago, trying to make this team and the season you put together last year?
Absolutely. I mean, pretty much for my whole career, I've been every outing, every bullpen, every side has been for the rest of my life. At least that's how I tried to attack it, and I'm still trying to do the same now, but at least coming off a little bit of success in the big leagues makes you a little bit more comfortable, but at the same time, you still got to go fight.
You led the team in appearances last year with 24. What do you think was the key to your success and your consistency? Craig Counsell and Chris Hook often referred to you as the glue guy in that bullpen.
Just trying to go out and attack all the time. Trying to throw a lot of strikes, trying to make my innings quick so that I can be in there as much as possible because, you know, and like you said, in those glue situations where you got to try and bridge the gap, the more times I throw, the less times we have to waste guys like Hader or Williams, and those guys can be fresh, and the more often they're fresh, the better we're playing baseball. So
you had an opportunity to pitch in the postseason as well against the Dodgers. Just what kind of feedback and confidence did that give you to have the success that you did in that outing?
I mean, it's unmatched, to be honest with you, with just how my journey was and leading up to it and whatnot. Like, for one, pitching professional baseball wasn't really part of the journey there for a while, and then pitching in the big leagues kind of started to fade away, and then to get to the playoffs and to have success. I mean, I definitely is an experience that I won't ever forget, and I can remember after I got done going and sitting in my locker and just kind of zoning out, because it was unlike anything that I could have realistically imagined, and it makes you want to go back for more.
Well, this group definitely trying to get back there, and this bullpen is just so versatile. I think you were the one that came up with the funky label last year. Give us the report on just what you've seen from some of these bullpen arms here early in camp.
I mean, it's part of the reason I think everyone likes the Brewers, is that we just do things different, and we do things weird, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, even Phil out here is about probably as normal of an arm saw as you can get, and he's still weird. But no, it makes it fun. I mean, you get players who come in from other teams, and they come talk to you about the bullpen and just how different everybody is coming out of it. You know, it's just uncomfortable for them, and I think that's the whole point, is being uncomfortable for the other team. And I mean, you mix that with what Woody and Burns and Anderson and all them are bringing to the table to start us off for 6-7 innings. I mean, it's just a fun game of baseball.
Last one for you. I know you give your catchers a lot of credit as well. Omar Narvaez, Manny Pena. What's it like to have such veteran guys behind the plate for you, Eric?
I mean, it's irreplaceable when they can do their homework and make you feel comfortable on the mound. You know, all you have to do is worry about executing a pitch out there. You don't have to worry about, you know, who's in the box, who's coming up next, and any of that action, because they've got it taken care of for you. So you're just up there, you know, grip whatever they put down and see what happens, and let baseball take care of itself at that point.
All right. Well, thanks so much for the time, Eric. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Eric Yardley, what a great story. It's one you root for always. There's a base hit to right. That's Hunter Bishop. Arizona State Sun Devil delivers one to right field.
Yeah, Yardley outstanding. His 154 earned run average last year, good for 4th amongst National League relievers a year ago. Unscored upon in 12 of his last 13 appearances. Outstanding work.
He made his major league debut in 2019 with San Diego. It's 3 days after his birthday, his 29th birthday. Finally got a chance to pitch in the big leagues at 29, and then last year leading the Brewers in appearances.
7 up, 7 down in the wild card series against the Dodgers.
Got to be an out-of-body experience just to be in a spot like that, and then to have pitched in the postseason and had success. You get rid of those first-time feelings. And can only bode well for you, especially when you have success like he did. That's one of the benefits of making it to the postseason 3 consecutive years. You got not just a veteran roster with great talent, but the young guys have been in the postseason as well. Now you add Jackie Bradley Jr. to the mix. Jackie Bradley Jr. has won an MVP in an ALCS in his career, as has Lorenzo Cain. Runner takes off. This is Feliciano behind the plate now for the Brewers. That's another steal for the Giants, their 3rd of the day. Feliciano's got a great arm. Bishop got a great jump.
Yeah, it takes Bickford a while to, you know, get rid of it. All arms and legs coming at you. Tough to throw out base runners with him on the mound.
Two and two the count now. Logan Wyatt's first at bat. In for Darren Ruff. A lot of the substitutions have been made here. Brewers have a new group in the field as well, other than the shortstop Daniel Robertson. A full line change. Tyrone Taylor in left. There's Corey Ray in center field for Fisher. And Garrett Mitchell in his first big league camp. He's in right. Over at first base is Zach Green. Mark Mathias at second. Robertson remains. He's the only starter that's still in there. Got Pablo Reyes at third base and Mario Feliciano behind the plate with Bickford on the mound. Shattered the bat. Green will take it to the bag for out number 2.
Yeah, that ball just came boring in on that hitter. Yeah, no chance. I mean, that had some good late movement on it. Eats him up. Shrapnel everywhere. Easy out to first base.
All right, so 2 outs. Bickford trying to post the first scoreless inning by a Brewer pitcher today. A lot of offense in this game. 18 hits. And the fact that the Brewers rolled 3 innings with the Giants threatening could have been a lot worse on the scoreboard anyway. That's why wins and losses don't really mean much. They never did, but especially this year with the relaxed rules.
Get your work in and make sure everybody's healthy when the game's over.
Joey Bart taking over for Casale. Pinch run in the 5th inning, last inning. First at bat for him. Hard throwing Phil Bickford. And a ground ball. Nice pick over there by Mathias, and that will retire the side. Bickford holds the Giants to no runs in the 6th inning. Brewers down a run. They're coming to bat. Though they're not here in person, you know the sausage races are still ongoing. Masked up and everything around Milwaukee. Italian winning today. I show the video on the scoreboard between innings. Gotta get your sausage race fix. Kervin Castro, big pitching prospect in the Giants system, is on the mound. This guy can bring it.
Yes, he can. Big power arm out of Venezuela. They say he was Giants draft in 2015. Not a lot on him, other than the fact that he can bring it. He's got a good fastball, 6 feet, 185 pounds. You see what he did in the minors a couple of years ago.
Fastball, curveball pitcher. He'll face Daniel Robertson, the last of the starters that are still in the game. 3rd at bat here for Robertson. Coming out of the bullpen, humming at 97 miles an hour.
Easy cheese too, right?
Big strong right-hander. Woo, look at that hook, Rock. Man, you put those two together, you're talking about a big league closer.
Yeah, you're talking about a real uncomfortable at bat.
1-2 pitch. There's another curve, and it's fouled away. And straight down curveball. There's a lot of power fastball slider pitchers, but the fastball curveball combination is rare.
The John Axford combination.
Yeah, it worked well for him. Joaquin Soria was fastball curveball closer. The 1-2 to left and down, a base hit for Robertson. That's a good day. Daniel Robertson on twice. A walk and a single. Brewers have the tying run on to start this 6th inning.
Big high leg kick, good balance, nice level swing, and a base hit to left.
Pinch runner Bryce Turang. And Robertson's day is done. How you coming on those changes, partner? You
I
good?
got them. I got defense.
Nice.
I put the hitters in when they come up.
Well, right out of the catcher's mitt. Ejecto mitt, Joey Bart. And over to second base goes Turang.
You got everything down on the changes?
Confidence is low, but I think I have everything in. I don't think it's made easier by the fact that Mike Vasallo announcing the changes is now making corrections. But that's no problem. We have our own people here.
Well, at least he's making announcements.
Media relations director. What we do know is Mark Mathias is at the plate, first at bat. Colton Wong started, had a base hit, 1 for 3 today. Between Beth and Brophy here, we're all dialed in.
Yeah, they're working hard. I feel obligated to make the changes in my scorecard.
Well, you can't really turn it into the Baseball Hall of Fame without finishing it off. So you've been sending yours in every game, right? Get them validated.
I put them in the circular file before I leave.
Didn't you? There's Mike Vasallo looking spry as ever. All unied up, got the logos on.
How many years he got in now with us?
Just double it, whatever it is.
Still looks young.
Mathias strikes out. There's that big curveball. And that's a nasty pitch. On the way.
Yeah, you talked about that breaking pitch going straight down. And able to get Mathias on that.
All right, here's Garrett Mitchell. Love watching this guy play. He looks right at home. This is his first big league camp, and talk about guys who have the look. He's got the look. He looks like he belongs. He's swinging the bat well, playing a good center field. He's in the game today in right field. First round pick in last summer's draft. Achieving his baseball dream in the middle of a pandemic. And he hits that one sharply. Base hit into left field. And they're going to wind up and send Turang. He'll score, and this game is all tied at 6. How about Garrett Mitchell? Make an impact, young man.
Yeah, they like him. First rounder, fastball up and away, and goes right with it. That's a nice swing. Gets on top of that big fastball. Nice easy swing. Look at the legs. Hardly any movement. Nice approach going the opposite field.
Well, Mitchell with an RBI single. And he can run. Might see him try to take off here. Mitchell, that's his 4th hit already, Rock. He's 4 for 8 now this spring. That's his 3rd RBI of the spring. Tyrone Taylor takes a strike.
Doesn't seem to be overwhelmed in a big league camp, does he? That's the thing about these young kids. I mean, they really don't seem like they're overmatched. A lot of confidence.
Taylor, a little half swing, able to check it. In the air to right, and Basabe there to make the play. 2 men are out. Let's check in with Sophia Minard. She's got more on Garrett Mitchell participating in his first big league camp. What do you have, Soph?
Yeah, and Garrett Mitchell, you know, he was a first-round draft pick last year, as you guys said, and just probably unfortunate timing because, like everyone else, he just had to wait and see what would happen with no minor league season, so his development kind of slowed down, but he was able to participate in the instructional league here in Arizona over the fall. So he said, you know, once he got drafted, he spent a ton of time working out. He said, I almost turned myself into a bodybuilder, and then I had to become a baseball player again when he came here for instructs. And so he's in his first camp, and this is really his first experience in pro ball, period. So Craig Counsell always preaches eyes and ears with these players when they're here in their first major league camp. He said it's just about being around the older players, and I've seen him spend a lot of time talking with Lorenzo Cain at his locker and just picking everyone's brains, you know, just being able to observe, ask questions, talk to some of these veteran players who have been in the big leagues for a long time. And he said, you know, just being back on the field is a joy considering how long it had been since he'd been able to play. So he's obviously a very talented player. They like the lefty bat, the outfield profile. And Craig Counsell said they know that he really runs well, and he's known for his defense. So we're seeing a lot of the strengths of why the Brewers acquired him in the first round last year.
The Brewers were surprised he was still available. He's 6'3", 215. He's a great story. He has type 1 diabetes that was diagnosed early as a child. And there were, I guess if you're looking for a book of concerns, it was a player with diabetes and how you can manage that. And there was not as much power at UCLA for a guy of that size. But, you know, and we had a chance to listen to him last year. Didn't do our traditional first rounder in the booth, but the Zoom calls, and he's been able to manage it very well, and Brewers feel like they got a gem in Garrett Mitchell. He's proven it here this spring.
And think about the outfielders that he has an opportunity to talk to and be around on a daily basis. Talk about Jackie Bradley. You know, got Yelich and Kane, Avi Garcia. I mean, if you're not taking advantage of that, there's something wrong with you. Talking about eyes and ears, Craig Counsell saying just listen to those guys, watch what they do, watch their work ethic. Amazing. Good stuff.
He was the Bruins leadoff hitter. Great player at UCLA. Zach Green batting with 2 outs after Mitchell ties this game at 6. In the dirt, Mitchell stays put.
Getting a lot of text messages, partner. A lot of people watching. Tim O'Driscoll.
Oh, is that right? Official score? Can you ask him how to reconcile the scorebook?
Hall of Fame official score. Yeah, how do you do a rolled inning, Tim?
3 of them, as a matter of fact.
Anxious to get back at it. Opening day around the corner.
High fly ball, center field. Green sends one off the base of the wall. Mitchell was running all the way. He'll score easily. And how about that? The Brewers take the lead 7-6 Milwaukee as Zach Green delivers a double.
Get it up in the wind and hope for the best. He was doing a good job of that. Has that fastball pretty straight, has a lot on it, down in his zone, and Green able to make good contact on. Wind just picks it up and carries it over the head. And the Brewers take a lead. Wow.
Zach Green took over at first base for Vogelbach, making the most of his first at-bat of the game. Now here is Travis Shaw, also hitting for the first time.
Yeah, we also got a text message from Gord Ash.
Oh, is that right?
Former assistant general manager, still involved with the organization with the Dominican Republic program over there.
You know, I was thinking about those guys, Gord Ash and Doug Melvin, Canadians, hearing the passing of Ray Cormier.
Right.
yesterday. I know they were all close, especially Doug Melvin.
Spent a lot of time with Cormier. Yeah, very sad. Died of cancer. But Gord Ash is telling me this is the first spring training he's missed in 38 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of those stories out there. Shaw hits one sharply, right field line, fair, just inside the line. Another run will score. Shaw on his way to second with an RBI double. 8-6 Milwaukee.
So the tips from Andy Haynes that he identified late last night or the night before paying off. The setup, fastball in. You can see how straight that fastball is out of the hand of Castro. Not a lot of movement on it. The Brewers are getting some pretty good swings at it.
And they will roll this inning. High pitch count for Castro. Brewers have the lead as we go to the 7th. Taking the lead here. It's 8-6. We go to the 7th. And we remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Milwaukee Brewers. Well, the Giants had a few innings stopped on them. The Brewers just had one rolled. But they did take the lead, and now it's going to be Bobby Wall, hard-throwing right-hander on the mound against San Francisco in the 7th.
Yeah, missed all of 2019, came back last year, 3 games. Not so concerned about the numbers, just the fact that he was able to get back out on the mound. Had the big fastball. Brewers really were depending on him in 19, got hurt in spring training, and hopefully he's going to be available this year.
He'll face Elliot Ramos, prospect who started this game. He's the designated hitter, been out there the whole way. Bickford just posted a scoreless inning for the Brewers. First scoreless inning by a Brewer pitcher today. And now Bobby Wall, 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 1-1.
We're still looking for a first 3-up, 3-down inning for either team. Be a good time for it.
Is that a hopeful declaration? Is you're trying to manifest that?
I am.
That hit the mound. Nice big hop and a throw up the line. Nice catch and tag by Zach Green. That was well done. Talk about good footwork over there at first base, Rock.
Yeah, good job getting off the bag. Catching the ball is your first responsibility at first base. And once you catch the baseball, try and make the tag, and that's what he was able to do. Good job. Green doing a nice job getting that out. I hope for a 3-up, 3-down inning every time the Brewers are in the field.
All right. Fair enough. You know what the fastest innings are? First pitch, base hit, double play, then an out. Those are the, I like those.
Yeah.
Because the opposition gets a little bit of hope and then it ends quickly.
Yeah. Demoralizing.
Yeah, the demoralizing innings. Arismedio Alcantara, first at bat for him, playing third base. You get in this part of the game, though, these are when you always feel like the games get a little more spicy. Most of the players in the game now are fighting for jobs, trying to make an impression. And you can tell they're grinding. Much different scene for a guy like Christian Yelich or Colton Wong. I mean, they're playing hard, but they want to just get their at-bats in, see some pitches.
Intensity level spikes up quite a bit when these young guys get into games.
Gabe Kapler trying to make this Giants culture, hard-nosed team, keep going what Bruce Bochy had set up there in San Francisco. One of the all-time greats, Hall of Fame manager Bruce Bochy. 3 World Series with the Giants. There's a swing and a miss. Big curve by Wall. That was a dandy.
Yeah, that's a good pitch to go with that fastball.
Remember Kapler as a Brewer, Rock? Some good days. There's Dale Swain, third base coach. Played with the Brewers in 08, and that was the year the Brewers finally broke the seal.
It's a good year for him.
He was having a great year. Then he got injured, remember, and wasn't able to participate in the postseason. There's his good buddy Craig Counsell.
Yeah.
And that 08 season, that'll go down as one of the special years in Brewer franchise history. 26-year drought between playoff appearances.
No stranger to the weight room, Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, still yoked. Did some broadcasting too. I worked with Gabe. Did a number of games with Gabe Kapler as a TV analyst for Fox before he went back on the field. Got the managerial job with the Phillies.
So did Craig Counsell. Work with us.
That was more of a hobby for Counsell.
Yeah,
he was just tapping in.
Well, he was just trying, you know, testing his mettle, seeing what he had.
Just like Gord Ash. He was just filling in.
Realized this was a little bit too complicated and then just decided to manage.
It's not easy up here. I mean, you got to be a man to do this job. Excessive sitting. You got to be in shape to do this.
Yeah, Gord filled in.
I remember when Gord was with us, Prince Fielder had an inside the park home run that one game when Gord was filling in. I think it was in Minnesota, and Gord laughed the whole way around as Prince was running the bases. Yeah, Gabe was a good analyst too. He's a good TV analyst.
Yeah.
He really did his homework as if he was a manager.
He's into the metrics, isn't he?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
Analytics. And he'd bring like a stack of food from Whole Foods. There goes your 3 up, 3 down inning, partner.
So he wasn't like munching on hot dogs all the game?
No, he would eat every hour. A lot. And he would bring this giant bag. And, you know, in Whole Foods, you put them in these little cartons, you know, these little individualized
No
plates.
kettle corn?
No, he wasn't going for the kettle corn. Every hour, you'd see him over there shoving down.
You know, you mentioned John Miller. I mean, he's notorious. He's really famous for loving the brats in Milwaukee, especially back at Old County Stadium.
Yeah. Have you seen John Miller lately?
Well, not for a couple of years.
Slim Shady.
Really?
Skinny.
John Miller.
He's on the Gabe
Kapler
program. I think Gabe got everybody dialed up. Runner takes off. And another stolen base.
Giants aren't afraid to run, are they? It's kind of going to be their thing, right? Manufacture runs, put the ball in play, steal a base.
There is Giants coach Lissa Nakin. Trailblazer, Major League coach. And she's getting a chance to coach first base. Brewers have Sarah Goodrum, who is a batting coach, coordinator for the minor leagues. She was out earlier today watching batting practice.
She's leaning up against a batting cage. Be interesting to talk to her about, you know, her philosophy, and she knows what she's talking about, according to the folks I'm talking to. Good hitting coach.
She was a great player at Oregon, softball player. Sarah Goodrum. More and more women involved in Major League Baseball, on all sports really. NBA and the NFL. It's great to see a lot of talent too. And Brewers have a new athletic trainer as well, Teresa Lau, female athletic trainer, her first year with the Brewers. All these Trailblazers hoping to break through, do a great job and then get rid of the disclaimers.
Yeah.
From now on, don't need to call them.
Was the Super Bowl had their first female official, right?
Yeah.
This year.
And female assistant coaches as well. So get to the point where we don't even need to say that. But these guys are all trailblazers in their own right. Becky Hammond with the San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, Alyssa was with Gabe Kapler last year. Three and two the count. 2 outs in the inning. Lost him. Ball 4. Duggar draws the walk. Back-to-back walks after 2 quick outs. Jason Krazan will bat now. His first at bat of the game. I mean, technically, Counsell could roll an inning here because he's thrown 20 pitches. Technically. Runners take off. At least the runner at second. He'll end up at third. No play there. Another stolen base.
That would be one way to keep the lead.
I mean, that's how you do it. Just say, nope, sorry, pitch count.
Yeah, we're done. You think that might have something to do with why he wouldn't do it?
Well, he does have a pitcher warming up in the bullpen. Or at least standing in the bullpen. So I don't know. Maybe give him one more batter. I know they don't want these guys. No manager wants a pitcher throwing more than 25 pitches in an inning. If you leak over that a little bit, so be it. But it's all about player safety, player health. Changes the dynamic a little bit, though. There's a swing and a miss. 2 in the inning. No need to roll an inning, Rock. We're not rolling any more innings.
Roll on.
6 is enough. Roll out the barrel, but not an inning.
Little things can be a big deal.
Bobby Wall just got out of an inning with 2 on. Brewers maintaining their lead here. Spread out on the berm. I like that American flag blanket. That's nice. Fans in the stands. God, we missed you all.
Right, no kidding.
We missed you all. Just a little bit of energy and able to watch a ball game here. She might have just had her vaccine. She's looking at her arm, Rock. They've got the good program going here in Phoenix. You're doing a good job getting vaccinations in arms. Hopefully you'll consider getting vaccinated as well. I know my partner already had his. Bob Euchre's had his. I'm still on the list because I'm so much younger than you guys.
Yeah, you are too young.
All right, Mario Feliciano leads it off. First ball swinging, shallow right center, and oh, it's missed in right field by Basabe. Feliciano sprinting around the bags, and he's in. That's a way to play hard, even though it looked like a routine out off the bat. Basabe, that's a tough sun field out there right now.
Yeah. It's usually really bad out in left field, but, you know, the way he was cutting across into the gap towards center, you would think that the sun wouldn't play much of a part. That would nearly hit him in the head.
I mean, he's looking right into the sun.
Right off the fingers. Yeah.
It looks like a blooper, but it's rough. It is brutal out there. Of course, Mike Vasallo pins him with an error. Here is Pablo Reyes. First at bat for him of the day came in for Arcia.
Mike Vasallo's a very tough official scorer.
He is, man. He is. No sun base hits for him. Does make you want to just walk him out there to center field, though, don't you, right now, and let him stand there and hit a few fungos at him?
See if you can catch that.
Reyes fouls it away.
But he would probably say to Basabe, "I'd let me see you set up a Zoom call."
That's right. Good call. Now you see the numbers on Trevor Gott last year. A year to forget. I give those guys credit, Mike Vassallo and Andrew Grumman, man. They have been working hard, getting players and coaches, the manager on the Zoom calls, doing a great job helping us know them better. Pop up. Oh, that's trouble. That falls. Another one is down. The sun, the wind.
Yeah, Ray should be at second base.
Hey, Vassallo scored that as a base hit.
Oh, yeah.
A little shaming goes a long way.
Yeah, that wind, I mean, you know, pop-ups are a team effort. You got the sun, you got the wind, the high sky. If you can play defense in Arizona, you can play it anywhere.
No chance. Didn't even put a glove on it. First and third with nobody out. Here's Corey Ray. Ray, a former first rounder, played his college ball at Louisville. Boy, it looked like he had figured it out, was on a path. Had a huge minor league year in Double-A a few years back. Hasn't been able to quite capture the magic. He's been injured too. That's going to be a stolen base at second. Reyes in with a steal. Chance for Ray to pick up some runs here. And hit sharply, foul.
Well, he did a nice job dropping the head of the bat on that breaking pitch. Tell you, a lot of offense the last couple of days, huh? 10-9 yesterday. 14 hits for the Crew today. I wonder how many runs the Giants would have had the Brewers not rolled innings.
Probably no more. We just have to assume we'd probably still be in the fourth inning. I got a question on Twitter asking about rolled innings. Would you like to explain what rolled innings are?
Well, once a pitcher, you know, reaches a specific pitch count and they don't want to bring anybody in that particular inning, they just kind of shut the inning down. I mean, early in spring training, I think baseball has agreed to do that, you know, because there's no real minor league activity right now. Not as many players to go to in these games. That's why you start out maybe 5 to 7 innings. The Brewers are going, I think, 9 innings today. Based on how things have gone, they might not be able to get to 9 innings. Fireeisen is the last official Brewer on the list. Of course, there's probably some more available.
This rolled inning phenomenon that we're all witnessing now, this has been going on forever in baseball, but on the backfield, simulated games,
right,
things like that. It's common among the players to. I mean, these aren't new terminology, new phrasing. This is something that's part of the game. It's just never out in front of the fans,
right.
in regular games. But they decided to implement that this year just because the personnel. There's just not enough personnel, and you want to protect the players.
Not as many guys to go to. Yep.
Not necessary.
Good idea, though.
It certainly ended some Giants rallies for sure. There was a stretch there. The Giants in 3 consecutive rolled innings where the Brewer pitcher got to his number and they just stopped the inning. Across those innings, they stranded 7 base runners.
Yeah.
So they had it cooking plenty. There was one inning where the Brewers didn't get an out and they rolled an inning. So that's a pop up to Rang. Wind's blowing it back. Look out. And that's going to drop. Don't give him an error, Mike.
This game is like the old Candlestick Park, right?
It feels like Candlestick.
I mean, this is exactly the kind of the win that you would have at Candlestick Park just about every night.
Get some hot dog wrappers and
Giants
a few batteries, and you got it all made.
Giants old ballpark.
This is Terang yesterday. How about this swing, Rock?
Yeah,
back
talk about back legging one way, back and right.
He's not a big guy, but he packed some punch in his first spring training home run of the year. Bryce Terang, young prospect shortstop. He is the #1 infield prospect the Brewers have. Drafted and signed out of high school, Southern California. Still a young guy. Infield end. Terang, center field, hit hard. Plenty deep to score a run. And an RBI on a sacrifice fly for Terang. 9-6, Brewers lead it. That's the way you do it. Situational hitting. And Terang delivers that run.
Got to put the ball in play. Man at third, less than 2. He did a good job there.
All right, Peyton Henry is going to pinch hit for Matthias. Matthias got one at bat. Chance to get Henry an at bat here, but a runner at third. Peyton Henry, Brewers catcher. You got Narvaez and Pena, the two big league catchers. And Feliciano and Henry getting some action today. Jacob Nottingham is still injured. He's hoping to be back soon, but setback for Nottingham. You know, he's disappointed.
That broken hand, had surgery.
Made it to the big leagues a year ago. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-2 the count. Brewers have a runner at third in Reyes, and the 1-2 is outside for a ball. Brewers will have a road game tomorrow, although road games in the Cactus League aren't a big deal. 20-minute drive over to Mesa. Date with the A's.
Yep, A's tomorrow. Back to Mesa on Friday against the Cubs. I got a webcast over there, Sloan
Is that
Park.
right?
Yeah, me and Jeff.
Okay. Radio tomorrow, radio and TV Thursday, and then a webcast. That's a swing and a miss. Inning is over. All right, so the Brewers get a run, and they lead 9-6. We go to the 8th.
New wings from the
ball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And, I don't know how many innings the Brewers are going to play. Originally slated for 9. This is the last pitcher on the Brewers list. J.P. Fireeisen, Wisconsin native.
Yeah, he was somewhat impressive. He had some pretty good outings. You see the earned run average, not real great, but 6 appearances in the big leagues. Craig Counsell really liked him. An opponent batting average at 138. Hard thrower. Getting an opportunity here in the 8th inning. 8th inning already?
Here we are. And the Brewers lead 9-6. J.P. Fireeisen facing Marco Luciano, and pumps a strike in there. Big prospect shortstop playing the whole game today, Luciano. 0 for 3, couple of Ks. In case you need it for your scorebook, Rock, Peyton Henry stayed in the game, is playing first base.
First base.
Yes.
Okay.
Which moved Zach Green to third base. There's Peyton. Which moved Pablo Reyes to second base.
And that's why you saw Matthias going to the clubhouse.
He got his one at bat. Waited all game to get in the game. Gets in the game. Take him out. So now you know who is in the field behind Feyereisen. No, we've used a lot of players today, that's for sure. 17 position players. One-two pitch. And a swing and a miss. Feyereisen wipes him out.
Good breaking ball. Really good breaking pitch right there. He's got a good arm, and check this out. Straight down. That's the old Chuck Krim slider right there, partner.
I remember Chuck Krim.
Talk about a natural slider. Krimmer had a good one. You know, Chuck Krim lives in Arizona.
Is that right?
Lives in the West Valley.
You got his address?
Yeah. He's a bass master. He's a bass professional fisherman.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I have a Chuck Krim story. I think he prevented my brother from making a big league roster one year. It was between those two.
Really?
And they went with the veteran Krim because he had big league experience, and my brother didn't have much. So, you know, I'm not a huge fan.
No.
No, I don't know him. I'm sure he's a good fisherman.
Well, and he's a fantasy camp coach.
He's got a nice slider.
Yeah, he does.
He did anyway.
Probably still does. You know, he used to be the bullpen coach for the Dodgers for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not saying we were wishing ill will on Chuck Krim, but, you know, it'd been nice.
Brother Mike.
Had they gone with the other way.
How is Brother Mike?
He's great. There he is. No, that's not him. Super Scout Mike Anderson. You mentioned Gord Ash, you know, not here at spring training. Well, there are a lot of scouts like my brother that are not here at spring training either.
Right.
Some teams have their scouts here, but, you know, that's a huge group of individuals. They've making the pilgrimage here to spring training every year. You learn a lot about players. There's another K. Look at Feyereisen. Back-to-back strikeouts.
Pulled the string right there. 89 going away from the lefty. Nice pitch. Yeah, changeup. Well done. Good movement.
That's some dart to it. 2 up, 2 down. Brings up Logan Wyatt. Yeah, we're thinking about all those individuals who, you know, would normally be here but aren't just because of restrictions. You've got all the tier 2 status. There's only so many spots available, so a lot of coaches in the minor leagues that would normally be here, scouts, executives. Yeah, we miss everybody. We're fortunate we're able to be here to call these games. It was about this time last year that all of this shut down. Feels like a generation ago.
I remember I was on the way to the ballpark and to do a TV game or maybe a webcast. I'm not quite sure. Got a call and said, turn around, go home. Spring training is shut down for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, right. Never came back. March 12th, the official date. They shut it down. Some teams shut it down a day or two earlier. Feyereisen hits the corner on Logan Wyatt. And it's 2-2. Feyereisen a chance to strike out the side here. I don't see a pitcher in the Giants' pen. This might be the last inning. We'll see. And that one is outside. Oh, now there's somebody up down in that Giants bullpen. Gregory Santos. He must be loose. He's another big prospect. He'll be worth sticking around for. He can bring it.
Yeah, it's him and a bunch of catchers.
They don't count. Slow roller. Gloved nicely by Turang. Nice play. You know what we have there, partner?
The first one.
3 up, 3 down inning. Turned in by J.P. Fireeisen. Give that man a parking spot. 6, we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. There's a Milkman jersey or a t-shirt. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Brewers down early, took the lead. Giants had a few innings rolled on them. Unfortunate for them.
Milkman play over at the Rock.
Yeah,
they call it in Franklin.
It's a great setup, man. They've done a good job. Independent ball. All right, we got a new pitcher on the mound for the San Francisco Giants. Santos. Gregory Santos will take over for San Francisco. Brewers have used 7 pitchers today. Garrett Mitchell ready to lead off. So you got a couple of young guns coming up here. Santos and Mitchell. Might see these two in the big leagues.
Yeah, Santos in A-ball a couple of years ago. 2019 did not pitch last year, of course. 8 games at 286 earned run average, 1-5 record. He was a starting pitcher in the minor leagues 2 years ago.
Missing all those innings. Got to take them where you can get them. They're very high on Santos. Garrett Mitchell had a base hit his first time up. Mitchell had an RBI single in the 6th inning. Took over for Garcia in right field. Avi hit a home run today again, his 2nd. He and Yelich went back-to-back in the 5th inning. .98-mile-an-hour fastball that time from Santos. And that one's hit hard into left, right at the left fielder Bishop, who makes a nice catch.
Almost took his glove off. Boy, Garrett hammered that one.
I tell you, this kid can hit.
A breaking pitch after a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Santos goes with the breaking pitch, and Mitchell stings it.
Gotta love what you see out of him.
He's got a nice swing. Look at this. Yeah, wants the lower half, nice and quiet. Right to the baseball, down and through. Good backspin as that ball leaves the bat. Nice short stroke. Like it.
Tyrone Taylor takes a strike. Mitchell 4 hits, 9 at-bats in the Cactus League this year.
And a rocket out the left.
Yeah, a lot of hard outs too. That ball's ripped right center field. No one's getting to that one. That's going to get to the wall. Taylor will roll into second base with a double. Tyrone Taylor is trying to make this team as a 5th outfielder.
He's doing everything he can for sure.
That's his 6th hit of the spring. 6 for 12 now at the plate for Tyrone Taylor.
What you like about Taylor, look at this nice short stroke into right center and right out of the box. He's thinking 3 on his horse, thinking any bobble out there, he's going to go to third base. Holds up at second.
One out, runner at second. And here is Zach Green. Drove in a run with a double in the 6th inning. That was Green's 2nd hit of the spring. Bowden Francis loosening in the Brewers bullpen. Fly ball right field, tough sun field, and that's going to fall. The dive by Basabe Taylor's going to score. Basabe looks like he's hurt. All the way into third goes Green. Oh, you hate seeing that.
Yeah.
He's already got a wrap on his left wrist. He's had a tough day out there in right field, but many do in conditions like this. That hard wind blowing, the sun.
Playing real deep. He kind of froze initially and then had to make up ground, and that doesn't look good.
I got stuck under him, man. Hate seeing that.
Yeah, the wrist, or not sure what it is, but he's still down.
So give Green a triple and an RBI as they tend to Basabe. And these guys have been through so much. Unable to play baseball last year. You can only imagine what's going through his mind. He is hurt badly. Just tell by the way he's holding that left wrist. There's Dave Yeager, Brewers athletic trainer. Brewers have state-of-the-art medical facilities here.
Everything's top-notch here at this ballpark, at this facility.
I'm sure there's x-rays coming. I don't know exactly if they'll do it here or elsewhere, but they're certainly talking through that, I'm sure. That's just too bad. Man, you hate to see that. Just trying to get ready for a season. And have to exit with an injury. It does not look good. Santos waiting for his teammate to clear. Giants gonna have to make a ton of changes here. So it's an RBI triple for Zach Green. Taylor scores after he doubled. And that's gonna give Travis Shaw another at bat. Fans that are here giving Basabe a nice hand on his way out. Appreciating the effort. Antoine Kelly in the Brewers bullpen. Travis Shaw takes a ball low. Shaw hit a line drive for an RBI in the 6th inning. Boy, this guy throws hard. That one looked like it had some cut to it, and it was 96 miles an hour.
Amazing young arms, aren't they?
Just raw right now. That's what the development phase is all about.
6'4", 238 pounds. Born in 1999.
Oh, boy.
San Cristobal, Dominican Republic.
Just threw that slider at 88. 3-1 the count, infield in. Shaw takes a strike. You got a partner for your drive home today? You got it?
I do not.
Get in the carpool lane?
I do not. I'm in the single passenger lane. No HOV today.
Shaw draws a walk.
How about you?
Well, you know, I don't, but I'm just right down the road here, sleeping in my car. So just find a gas station and
saving the organization a few bucks.
Yep. Things are tight. Lost a lot of revenue last year, so it's nice. Works for me. I'm a little guy, so
what kind of card they rent
don't
you?
need a lot of room. That was a Bentley. Yeah, it's nice.
I was gonna say
convertible. You probably didn't see many of those at your rental car facility. Those Bentleys.
No,
those are only for the VIP customers.
Rent-a-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did rent in AAA. My first year in AAA, rented. I was in Vancouver, and I was trying to save a few bucks. I went to Rent-a-Wreck. Remember those places?
I do remember that. What kind of wagon did you get?
I don't know. It was some big long thing. I forget what it was. It was green.
Nice.
It was cheap. Canadian money.
Okay. That was kind of your ride for the season.
Exchange rate was pretty good back then.
Point A to point B was no problem.
Yeah, a bunch of us went to the Rent-a-Wreck. I mean, we're making a lot of money.
I let one of our players in the minor leagues, when I was calling games in the minor league baseball, borrow my car for a day, and I didn't get it back for a month. Honda Civic.
Where was it?
He just took it. Said I needed another day.
That was it, huh?
You know, I was pretty intimidated. He was having a good year too. He was swinging the bat well, and I didn't want to disrupt that. So I just drove my wife's car. She
couldn't very well come
She's
up
the
on
one
it.
who had to really suffer.
Yeah.
So
who's suffering now?
I don't remember that guy's name. Brian. We have the same first name. Mario Feliciano. First and third, takes a strike here, and it's 3-2.
You know, I do remember getting a flat tire in that Rent-a-Wreck, whatever it was, some big long 8-cylinder gas guzzler. And a flat tire, and
called AAA?
They came out. They came out.
Hey, there's a base hit. Hold that thought, Rock. Feliciano knocks one down into the corner. One run, Green is in. They're going to wave Shaw. Shaw on his way to the plate. Got a piano on his back. He scores regardless. No problem. 2 runs are in on a triple from Feliciano.
It just goes to show you, I mean, you know, the big fastball is one thing. It's being able to locate the other stuff at this level is the important thing. Yeah, check it out. Another breaking pitch. He's getting hurt with a breaking ball. And Feliciano able to tuck one inside that third baseline and all the way around to third base.
All right, so the Brewers now lead 12-6. Pitch count at 18 for Santos. And here's Pablo Reyes.
So they came out with a new tire.
Yeah.
And I will tell you this. There wasn't any sense of any tread on this tire. It was completely bold.
It's like an inner tube.
Oh, my gosh.
Take it down to the river later.
Oh.
Did it last you the whole season?
And I think they wanted me to pay for the new tire. I mean, it wasn't new, but, well, it's going to cost you. I said, I'm not paying for this.
Rent-a-Wreck.
Rent-a-Wreck. Do they still have them?
I don't think so. It feels like a safety issue. I could be wrong, though.
Had a good time, though, in Vancouver in AAA.
Remember all those promotions in the minor leagues when they'd announce a license plate? And, you know, you think, you know, the person would think they're going to win something. They'd stand up and wave, "That's me, that's me." Then they'd say, "You have the worst car in the parking lot." There's a sacrifice fly and an RBI for Pablo Reyes. Brewers add to their lead, 13-6. Rent-a-Wreck still exists.
Yeah.
Our producer Marty Tarr is online, currently renting one for the weekend.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
Marty's producing this game and directing it and
renting cars.
Renting cars from Rent-a-Wreck. Corey Ray now. 2 outs Bottom of the 8th. 4 runs are in. Bases are empty now. High pitch count. I'm thinking maybe last batter for Gregory Santos. I think maybe you ought to work a little marketing deal with Rent-A-Wreck. There's so much potential with it.
You think?
The zen of rental cars.
Don't let the name fool you.
That goes for us as well.
Yeah.
Little half swing. Did not go. I thought he went. I think Paul Clemens had a WW on that one, Rock. Wasn't watching.
No. X.
2 balls and a strike on Corey Ray.
All right.
Did you buy a brand new car when you got to the big leagues? With
No.
your big league money?
I did not.
No.
I did not.
And Ray will draw the walk. See if they're going to leave Santos out there. Gabe Kapler is on the walkie-talkie. He's got a pitcher warming up in the bullpen. And I think he is going to make a pitching change. Yep. I'd be in favor of a rolled inning here. I mean, it's not like we haven't had any today. I mean, we've had 6 already. What's one more? Last guy available, Luis Gonzalez. Welcome to the party.
Brewers baseball.
6. Brewers have 4 runs in. Look at those cool koozies out there. And you can only imagine what would be going in those koozies right now. 13 runs, 17 hits. But an ugly game for the pitchers today, both sides. Luis Gonzalez will try to get the inning over. And let's see if the Brewers can keep it going here. You got Bryce Terang, going to be a matchup lefty on lefty. Terang made a nice play to end the last inning. Terang with a sac fly, his first plate appearance. How many pitchers have the Giants used?
Yeah, there's been a ton.
8. I think Gonzalez is the 8th pitcher used today. Brewers have used 7. Well, you know you're a big deal. You know you're a prospect when you get your name on your elbow pad. Custom made.
Right.
Terang.
It's not enough to get the name on the jersey. But knowing Jason Schauger, the Brewers equipment manager, he does that for everybody probably.
I've got a vision of Terang makes it to the big leagues. You roll in the video of Lurch. You rang. Or Boban. A swing and a miss, and the inning is over. So Rodriguez, the lefty, comes on, gets in a big league game. That matters. Gets a strikeout. Inning over. We go to the 9th. Last call for the Giants.
Go inside the
9th inning. Finally. Brewers trying to put away the Giants today. They lead at 13-6. Temperatures have cooled off a little bit. Wind blowing. Leo Crawford will get this last inning. Try to finish this thing off.
Out of Nicaragua. 6 feet, 180 pounds. Yeah, see his numbers. Good numbers a couple of years ago in the minor leagues. 25 games. A 281 earned run average. 134 strikeouts in 122 innings. Not too bad.
All right, gets his chance here on a big league mound from minor league camp. The few that have been asked to join the big leaguers. Brewers have used 8 pitchers today. Joey Bart leading off for the Giants. Brewers have scored in every inning since the 4th and had some big innings. 3-run 6th, had a 4-run 8th. I think the highlight of the game was the back-to-back homers by Garcia and Yelich. Avi Garcia and Christian Yelich with back-to-back homers to start the 5th inning. J.P. Fireeisen was impressive in his scoreless 8th inning, had a couple of Ks. The only 3-up 3-down inning of this entire game. Two and two the count. Leo Crawford. And the 2-2, and he got him. Nicely done.
Nice pitch, breaking pitch down.
Fooled him badly.
Well, he had to wait a long time to get on that mound, did he not? Making the most of it. Maybe change up. A second look at it.
Got those shadows creeping out over home plate. Disappearing pitches for the hitter. Fly ball deep left center. That is way back. Elliot Ramos hits a moonshot homer.
Up by the flagpoles out there in the center.
That's about as far as you'll ever see one hit here.
Yowza.
Oh. Elliot Ramos hits his 3rd home run of the spring. This guy's been tearing it up. Prospect, former 1st rounder. And he hits one a mile.
Man. Win or no win, that's a homer. But the wind's going to send it way, way back.
I was thinking the pitches disappeared on the hitter. That one disappeared on the pitcher.
Yes, it did. That ball got small in a hurry.
See why the Giants like him. There's Mendy Alcantara. Second at bat. 1 gone in the 9th. It's been a crazy day today. If you're just joining us, getting home from work and checking in on the Brew Crew. Brewers didn't have much success pitching early. Line drive to right. That's well done by Garrett Mitchell. We've seen how many problems outfielders have had today, especially in right field, and Mitchell played that like a pro.
That might have been one of the toughest. I mean, that line drive right at him.
Staring into the setting sun. He's looking like a dude, isn't he, Rock?
Yeah, he looks like he knows what he's doing out there. Looks confident.
Giants down to their last out. Yeah, the pitching early for the Brewers struggled. Hauser and Eric Lauer. There's that line drive. Look at Mitchell just go to the spot. Boom.
Yep.
Well done.
No problem.
Hauser had to be taken out of his 1st inning. He hit a pitch limit, re-entered in the 2nd. He did give up a home run, then settled in and struck out 3 batters in the 2nd inning after a home run. Lauer had a rough day. Kind of back to the drawing board for him. Phil Bickford was good in his inning, worked a scoreless inning. A lot of offense today. Brewers pounding out 17 hits.
Back-to-back days. Brewers with 23 runs in the last 2 games.
Garcia homered. Yelich had 2 hits, including a home run. Omar Narvaez went deep and then walked twice. There's a swing and a miss to end it. All right, this one in the books. Brewers win again, 13-7. The Brewers go to 6-3. A lot of rolled innings early for Gabe Kapler's team. They might have fared better offensively, but the Brewers glad to put one in the books, and a lot of folks got to play today. All these innings matter, all these games. So the Brew Crew shaking hands. Another big offensive night. Well, Rock, it's been fun. Our spring training experience is over. We'll see you April 1st.
We'll see April 1st at American Family Field against the Twins. Saw some pretty good offense today by both clubs.
Brewers are back on television day after tomorrow. Radio tomorrow against the Oakland A's, and then back on TV Thursday. Jeff Levering will be taking over the rest of the spring. 2 p.m. Thursday, Brewers Royals right here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Thanks to our great crew led by Marty Tarr. For Sophia Minert and Bill Schroeder, this is Brian Anderson saying so long from the Cactus League. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a great week, everyone. So long from Phoenix.
Brewers baseball is back.